And welcome back to ScavTalk, everyone. Today's episode, we're going to talk about Lighthouse, why it sucks, why it's the worst map, why we hate it. Lighthouse, 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 Lighthouse. That's it. That's the show.
The whole show. Enjoy. Sit back, relax, get your popcorn. What you been up to then, Church? You've been playing some Lighthouse
I
with a
have.
very high variety of weapons, no doubt.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, I feel like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do this wipe because, I don't know, it feels kind of nice to play Tarkov again, like an actual proper wipe, but also some friends are playing, which some of them have fallen off to Pal World.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Like, it's like kind of like thinking Kappa, but anyways, I'm doing Shooterborn because I kind of like sniping. Like sometimes like it's kind of a mixed bag. And I feel like this with the restrictions it is now with just headshots, it's like way more reasonable. Like if I
Yeah.
have to cheese it on reserve and go in the D2 and do it that way, it's like, you know,
D2
that's
with a
much more enjoyable.
VPO.
Yeah, no, for real. But that's much more enjoyable than like, spawning in and like trying to catch someone off the spawn 30 minutes and then it's like, or 30 seconds. And then, well, I guess I sit up dome for 30 minutes, hoping to God someone comes out of the underground because everyone's underground nowadays.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I was doing in Lighthouse. I was miserable. It was miserable. I should have got off, but like sometimes I get in this phase where it's just like, I just need one more dub. I just need one more dub. And then it's just like I'm tilted and I'm dying and I'm making mistakes and I'm just really annoyed and like outraged at the game. And I just okay, yeah, we'll get into it later. But
How far through? Did
that
you
was
finish Lighthouse? Shooterborn or
well,
not?
I did the shooter warm, but I got one more. I think it's one more Punisher kill with the ScavTalk Punisher Part
Ah,
4.
interesting. Yeah, it's funny that you're doing that one because I'm also doing Punisher Part 4.
Yeah.
Which is the new. So for those of you who maybe haven't got there yet, Punisher Part 4 is different now and is now on Lighthouse rather than being on Shoreline. So it's still the same quest. So you can use any gun that you like. You have to wear a Gab vest and a balaclava. And this is probably like one of the earlier PMC kill quests that's now been moved to Lighthouse, which is like quite unusual because most of the Lighthouse quests are like go here, grab the thing, go into the
Right.
camp and mark the stuff. Right, there's until you get to. There aren't really many Lighthouse PMC kill quests, to be honest with you. It's like
There's like one that's
it's that
faction
Lightkeeper
related.
one. Like yeah, so it's counteraction or our own land, depending on which faction you're on. But it's
Yeah.
not really required for anything. I think it unlocks like the
Right.
flashbang round or something for USEX and
Yeah.
something else for Bear. And then there's one which I can't remember what it's called now, but it's the one where you have to kill so many PMCs. That's not basically like if you want to do Lightkeeper, that's one that you have to do. I think it is part of network provider like line. Like once you get onto Lightkeeper himself, you have to then go and kill. I think it's 25 PMCs, but that's like it's quite a high level thing, right? You're on your way to getting Lightkeeper at that point. There aren't really any other PMC kill quests on that map, not that are sort of required anyway. And so now Punisher's moved over there. It's like, oh damn, I got to get. Is it 50? I think it's 15, isn't it? It's quite a lot. Like a high
10.
number. Is it only 10?
10. 10 PMC kills. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It is 10. It feels like a lot. It feels like 15. It's just not that easy on Lighthouse to just kill players in general. Like it just isn't that straightforward. So yeah, it's interesting that because you're like combining it with Shooterborn, and I'm at the minute combining it with like all the other Lighthouse quests. I basically haven't really been to Lighthouse very much until now. So I started doing Revision, where you have to mark all the stuff, the Fuel Matter one, where you have to mark all the tanks, Easy Job, where you have to mark the helicopter, like the various ones for therapists, where you have to go and like grab stuff and like just get them out of the exit, the Hermit. Like I hadn't even done some of the easy ones, to be honest with you. So I was combining it with that, and I've got literally, I've like done most of them. Like of the ones I wanted to do, I still have to do the very final task for Revision. I did like Corporate Secrets and some of those ones that are like slightly more annoying. So yeah, I've got one more revision to do. I've got Recon, the reconnaissance, that one where you have to visit all the tops of the buildings, and that's the one that I think you were talking about, where you get, you can buy the Corund VM plates from Prepal 3, so you can at least get Class 5 at Prepal 3. That's probably like the earliest Class 5 that you can access, and you can buy those plates and put them in the 6B 23-1 armor, which is that kind of cool. So you have like the propane armor, but you've got Class 5 in the front, which is pretty neat. So I still have that one to do, but I have one more kill from Punisher Part 4. I've like done all the rest of the quests with um trying to do Punisher at the same time, just like instantly meeting players. And so I killed like I guess 5 through all the other quests, and then I started to more specifically lean into the PMC kills. And I mean, we'll talk about it later. So it's actually quite interesting. This ended up working out this way, but I started using the VPO 209, the semi-auto one, and I did 4 in one stream, and which was
pretty good.
quite a lot using APM ammo. So we'll talk about that a bit later. But it did actually seem to perform quite well, and so I've literally got one to do. I've got one more kill to get. I don't know. I'll just like run around chalet or something. I was also trying to combine it. Oh god, I had like literally just a tale of woe. I tried to combine it with Lend-Lease Part 2 because that's probably one of the most like pain in the ass quests on the way to Lightkeeper. 2 Vertexes finding raid and 1 CFDM radio. Like you have to find lots of CFDM radios for Lightkeeper later, like another 4. But they're not like that bad. I found after you can find them on streets, you can find them on Lighthouse. There are other ways of getting them. Like you can run Concordia and get them there if you want to play streets instead, which is kind of nice. I got one of mine there last wipe, which is cool. The Vertex, like you basically have to go to either reserve, which seems to have like less spawns for it. Like some people have said, like yeah, they did it on reserve. It's possible, but I think Lighthouse is just like way more likely. But it's super painful, man. And like I spawned up by the chalet, upper chalet, like ran in, found like a load of good stuff. I think I found like a VPX and a Vertex, like a gold Rolex, whatever. Found a load of stuff. Went back to Southern Extract and left, and I literally had like 20 seconds left on the clock. Gave myself a freaking run through, dude. Honestly, so like I've got this like I just sold it to the therapist. I was just like crap. So my first Vertex, I've literally just like wasted by spending 6 minutes and 40 seconds in raid and getting a run through, which is just like sheer pain. I took it quite well, to be fair. I was just like whatever, but I was trying to like get through that early at least. Like while I'm here, I may as well, every time I spawn near chalet, I should at least go and check because that quest took me a long time. And when you're not doubling it up with other stuff, it can take you ages, right? I'm going with like Merrin Key with Hillside House and then checking chalet when I'm up there. I would have had one, sadly, I'm still at 0 on actually both, interestingly. I say if I haven't found any CFDM radios at all. But like it's not like I've been running it every single raid. I've been like going just sort of when I'm near, I'll go into the chalet. Like if I'm near Merrin, I'll go in. I think I've probably only hit it once or twice, so it's not too bad. But yeah, it's funny. I just find it funny that we're both doing the same one, which is like Punisher Part 4, which is like that's the core quest that you have to do. And then it's like, okay, you've gone like the sniping route to go and get shooterborn done, and I've gone the other route to go and get like all the other Lighthouse stuff done that I've left behind. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what like I guess like now we'll just talk quickly about the rogues. Like, how do you play Lighthouse? Have you been playing it going into the rogue camp or not? Because there's a big change recently with the rogues.
I can't just dab like put my little tippy toe into the Lighthouse discussion without. Let's do the patch and then let's go back to Lighthouse.
Oh, okay, all right, fine.
Okay, I'll have a meltdown otherwise.
We'll do that. Let's do the patch. So the patch should be relatively quick. And again, we'll infer to stuff later on. But they released patch 14.0.1. The first one was like very intriguing to me, which was fixed incorrect ammo penetration and damage calculations in some situations, which I was like, it's extremely vague, but it's also kind of like in my ballpark. So, I went to go and test some stuff, but we can talk about that a bit later. Fixed the ability to inspect and modify unexamined armor lying on the ground. So, it was a bit like you wouldn't, back in the day, you weren't able, I don't know if this is even, actually no, because nothing's unidentified now. Like if there was an unidentified gun, you weren't able to like reload it or something. Like if you hadn't had the mag identified, you couldn't reload or something. There's some weird thing a long time ago. So I guess this is the same thing for this. It's like if you haven't examined the armor, say it's like, because most of them are examined, but there's a couple that aren't. So yeah, you couldn't actually like inspect and modify to get the plates out and stuff. So it would be like Tagilla, for example, like the Tagilla armor, it doesn't come identified. This is basically all the boss stuff. TPC for the goons, Tagilla, Killer, Killer Helmet, but that's not really a modular one. So I guess it's just those couple of rigs. Move display of integrated armor component prices on trading screen, not really very important. Mechanic shows if you like load up a gun and you go to sell it to him, or you can like even if you don't sell it, if you're just in the mechanic like sell screen, you open up a gun in inspect view, it shows you like what the price of each things is. I think it was showing you the price to Ragman of like each integrated module, but obviously you can't sell those bits, so it was kind of silly. Fix the incorrect behavior of rogues when defending water treatment plant. Basically, they used to just completely rush you if you killed any of them, and now they don't. Reduce the loudness of footsteps on snow, which some people were asking for. Yeah, some quest stuff. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Fixed an issue that caused infinite loading into raid when playing as a scav. That was really annoying. That happened even on factory as well. So you'd load in and then it would just say
Hmm.
like starting raid, and then it would just never complete. And you'd have to like literally alt F4 the game, go back in, and then say like, yes, I want to disconnect. Because if you tried to go back
Yeah.
in, it would just never load, which is really annoying. Um, yeah, waiting session start exactly. Fix the visual effects of bloom and sun glare. This has changed some of the lighting. I don't know exactly how impactful this is. I've not played Interchange since, but I've seen some people saying Interchange is quite dark now in comparison, so I don't really know what's going on. They also changed something specifically on Interchange, which was color correction is now closer to the other locations. So I'm not really sure. I know some people were asking about like new post effect settings, something to like. The maps I've played has been basically the same because I'm just playing like outside in the snow, so pretty bright anyway. I know some people are looking to change it, so maybe that's something to look into in the near future. Fixed lack of fog in optical sights, because sometimes you could still just avoid fog by just scoping. Fixed inability to pick up some items, including quest items, which is a bug that I mentioned in my like problems video at one point, where you'd be near an item and then you try to pick it up and it would do the action, but it wouldn't
Hmm.
actually pick it up. It's like really annoying. I had that with Postman Pat. When pick up Postman
Same.
Pat letter, I didn't even realize it didn't pick up, so I left the raid and then was just like, huh, where is it? And I had to go back in. And when I went back in, I had to pick it up like 5 times to get it to work. Super
Hmm.
annoying. Fixed the ability to pass through solid obstacles in some situations. Presume this is the shoreline resort, like vaulting, but I don't know if it's completely fixed based on some comments I've seen on the internet. So I don't know. We'll see. To be honest, I never even tried it myself, so I don't really know, but they're making progress there. Fixed ability to transfer items in the Hall of Fame, because that was bugged. I think you couldn't take it out at one point. Fixed the airdrop loot not appearing as final raid, which is good. So now airdrops are worth doing again, which is nice. And increased spawn points for scavs on ground zero. So that was it. So it's like, a myriad of decent things there. Don't think it's too bad.
Hmm.
Relatively good list of fixes, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So jumping back to Lighthouse and the Rogues, I wasn't
Indeed.
aware that the Rogues charged you. Like that was kind of a new concept to me because I don't
Mm,
know when they changed that, but apparently it was sometime in between my sort of like very short time Tarkov in the past year or so.
yep.
Um, yeah, when was that actually? Was
I
that
don't.
was that like a something that they actually intentionally did? I'm like, but like I'm kind of
Well,
confused on that.
I don't think so. I think it was. I think it happened with the patches. If I, or maybe it was a little bit
Oh, this
after.
it
Yeah,
had to been
I think it
after
was quite
because
recent.
I watched guides on it that were like, previous patch. I guess it's 13.5. Because there was
Yeah,
this one strategy we were trying where the corner where like the dump truck is and there's a car and a little shack.
of the road camp.
Um
Which corner?
when you cross the
Oh yeah, when
bridge on the right, I'll
yeah.
pull up a map. Um well there there's like these worker shacks inside the fence, like just right
Mhm.
there. And apparently what you do is you would get on top of the boxes, jump over the fence, run up to the worker shack, run inside, touch like the tool desk, whatever, wait for a few seconds, run out, jump on the container, jump out the fence, and then you jump into the dump truck and wait. And they'll just like come out on the sides, or like sometimes they'll run up to the shack in there and then you shoot their head, and sometimes they'll come out on the sides. Like it was just like really bizarre. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Then I've seen like more like or other videos where they would like you essentially just go inside building 3, I guess that is. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you just shoot them through the doorway. Like it's just it's just like classic Tarkov AI. They just charge at you and you shoot through the doorway. But I thought that was like, oh, this is like another classic BSG thing where they're too good at the game. These dark streamers, we must make it for hardcore. Our game's hardcore. But I guess that's not the case. Which
Apparently
I think
not.
now it's much more enjoyable experience because you have the ground rogues that like roam around. Like, unfortunately, I have learned a lot of Lighthouse now.
Mhm.
Like I've had to by force, and it's not my favorite map. I have a lot of criticism. My
I
biggest
mean,
criticism. Okay, go ahead. Go
all I was
ahead.
going to
Let's.
say is I feel the same way, right? Because having to do the flash drive and stuff. Basically, like, if you run Lightkeeper every wipe, then you basically you're forced to learn the map.
But like, I mean, yeah, I don't even care about Lightkeeper though. It's just like,
No,
who
I know.
cares, man? I mean, maybe now it's a little bit more interesting that you can get some kind of like interesting stuff, but
And that's still not interesting enough for me, to be honest with you.
oh really? Not
Based on what
like
I've
the
seen, I don't think so. Like cultist mark like thing around the neck, like I never see them anyway, so who cares? Like Aya Zarachi, like I don't even know what that does, right? I think you can it covers you across the bridge, or whatever. Like it's just the services just don't make sense. I don't even know what the goons one does.
hmm.
Again, I think it's just like that raid or something. Like it's just silly. I don't think they're like meaningful in any way.
Yeah, like I feel like it was such a mistake that they've done what they've done because back when it was there, like it was kind of cool, but it was like super risky, right? Like you could go to the island
Hmm.
and like sometimes there's like a few tasks there, but there was like good loot there from what I remember. And there's even a mark term. Like I don't think it was like crazy and stuff, but prior before they put Lightkeeper in, and like to me, it like really balances the map out. Whereas now you just have like this side of the map, the left side, the shore side is just dead. There's nothing. There's nothing. And it's exacerbated by the fact that like the spawns I find are really bad. Like not quite reserve level bad in some instances, asterisks at that statement. Like there's one where you spawn near the on the shore next in between the two little like fishing
Yeah.
boat houses things, but there's a spawn like across the street, like past Marin across the street, and you have to like you kind of have to run each other because if you spawn in at that beach, it's your instinct might just be, oh, let me watch my flank because people might be coming at the beach, or let me go hit Marin, or let me go start shooting at the rogues. If you do any of the things, the guy might charge up behind you. So like you have to like
Deal with them first
I
kind of thing.
yeah, and I hate this part of Tarkov. Like I think that's why people like customs a lot is because even though the spawns or some of them are still kind of close, there's a lot of like barriers and obstacles in your way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas this is
Can't just be
just
shooting
like
at people instantly. Yeah.
yeah, this is just like walk 5 steps and shoot. Like literally the top right, these two spawns are so bad. You could literally walk 5 steps and shoot at each other, and yeah, I was watching Chief, and he's like, "Okay, this is the strat. You spawn here at this like basically the spawn overlooking village, and you go hit the stash. Nothing's there, whatever. Wait a few seconds, and then now you go peek the other spawn and catch someone they're running down the lake. And sure enough, the guy was running down the lake, and he just shot him and killed him. Like, God, this game is so bad.
Yeah. The spawn
And
thing is just terrible. And Lighthouse is
uh,
even worse for that because there's so many areas that are just like you couldn't put people in to spawn, and so it's just very restrictive. Is the problem.
yeah, I mean, I just at this point, like, I just like screw it, dude. Spawn the guy like right next to the Bitcoin spawn. Like, I just don't want them right next to me. Like, I just want to be able to move 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's just yeah. And then like if you spawn at the top, if you try to peek this guy's spawn, he has like 20 trees, and there's like shadows being cast off the trees. Meanwhile, you just have like the mountain backdrop against you. That's it. Like you're just so screwed if you try to peek that guy. So you have to either go down the minefield, which I have not taken the time to learn like the crazy routes. Like I just don't have the patience to go on offline and like repeat and sit here and like color coordinate. Maybe a 3D map would be better. Then I'm just like, don't go on these rocks because all of them got claymores. So it's just like you have to run in this corner, but then it's like you can't really peek the rows because if it's daytime, they'll just laser beam you through the little smoke. There's like that one smoke on like building
Hmm.
two, which I hate, and it's just like God kill me. So you just sit here and wait for like 10 minutes, and then it's like, all right, well, I guess now I can play. So I'll go back and take the long way around, and and then the guy that's already before they did the road fix, the rogues were already dead at this time period. The guy that got the god spawn, he already ran down and killed all the rogues in Battlefield 3. He's got all the loot. He's living good. It's just dude, this yeah. There's I think this is the other part too. I'm just gonna go on a kind of a long-winded
Keep going.
rant here too. Because the left side is so dead, like there's not really anything to do here. There's very sparse loot, whereas the other side's got, quote unquote loot house, right? Which I have my comments about that. But anyways, if you try to peek the opposite side of the street, the sun is literally rising on that side of the map. So They have all the shadows casting over them, whereas you're fully illuminated, and it's exacerbated by the fact
Uh,
mountains giant white covered in snow. So I'm just like constantly. It's like if I get spawned over there, it's just like, well, I guess I'll just sit AFK for 10 minutes in a corner of a rock, and what I've actually been doing that's been working, which I think is super lame, is I just camp my own spawn and wait for people to pass me and shoot them.
mm,
Because this is the other thing about the map is because there's nothing at the south side. Everyone wants to go north. So if
yeah,
you spawn like in the middle, you can just turn around and just kill
and just wait.
because
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
no one's got anywhere. Like, what are you gonna do? Yeah. I think the map is honestly so bad that it's worth them scrapping it and like only keeping the shoreline, the parts that are like geometry, or what's the word?
Geographically
Essential. Yeah,
essential.
geographically
Yeah,
essential. Yes, thank you. For like otherwise, like otherwise, dude, wipe that whole thing and start all over. Because I think it's the worst map in existence. Like, probably not the worst map in FPS games existence. I played some pretty bad, all right, Korean free to play shooters back in the mid 2000s and 2010s, but it's up there for me, dude. I think it's awful. And then the loot too. I don't even think the loot's that good. Like the chalets, it's like they have like 2 or 3 gold spawns, and like sometimes you get a Bitcoin. It's just like, okay, yeah, that's nice, but I could just go streets and literally loot any one building and come out stacked. Like it's
yeah.
like
I think that is the sort of the difference. Like now that streets exist, like Lighthouse is probably still higher tier than like all the other maps in like those concentrated areas. But there's not many other places to go. So most of the map that spawns south of the chalets goes to the chalets first if they can. You have like half the map that's gone up to the rogues, half the map that are fighting in chalets looking for vertexes and stuff like that. So you have to like PvP your way out a lot of the time. Whereas like, yeah, as you say on streets, you just turn up, do whatever. Just like, I had a 1-0 to fence plus scav run just literally in like the
wow.
construction building outside of Concordia on its own. And I was like, this is completely insane. I mean, that was with the LEDX. That was kind of skewed. But even without the LEDX, like the rest of the loot was absolutely bonkers. And like it's completely uncontested. There's not really any PvP. I mean, there's PvP everywhere, but like it's not a hotspot. It's not check 15, for example. Whereas if you go to chalets, like, yeah, you're probably gonna have to fight other people almost every time. And yeah, it's just these spawns are just crazy. I don't feel happy spawning anywhere on Lighthouse because I don't really like the road camp particularly. But like, if you're there at the road camp early, if you want to
Hmm.
snipe, well, someone's going to come up behind you and kill you, right? If you spawn in the middle, you have to then like push into somebody else who's like trying to attack the road camp. If you spawn in the middle somewhere further down, like you were saying, there's like just people everywhere, so you feel like you just need to sit still because otherwise they're going to spot you
Yeah.
walking around and you're going to die. And then if you spawn at Southern Road, like I spawn at Southern Road all the time, and I've had conversations with a lot of people where they're just like, I literally just walk straight back out and leave and come back in again, and I'm
Oh,
like,
you can take that extract if you
yeah,
spawn there? I
you
didn't know
always
that.
have Southern Road, always,
Oh,
always,
I didn't
always.
know that.
So, given you always have Southern Road, you can walk straight back out. But like, I did that a bit
Hmm.
in the end event for patch 13 when you had to go and get the Obdorbus ends, because by the time I got over to Scab Village, like they would all be dead. So I did it a couple of times, but the problem for me, I just hate doing that. Like Lighthouse takes ages anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone's wooden PC takes an eternity to load in.
Yeah.
You're sat there like waiting for players for all eternity. It takes like 6 minutes to get into a game, and then you spawn Southern Road, and you're like, "Am I really just going to leave and like go for another 6 minutes of like loading in?" Like, oh man, like I just can't face it. So often I end up just like play. I'd rather just be playing the game. I don't know. Like unless I have
No,
something very specific to do,
feel that.
I'd rather just play the game. So I usually do that. There's one other like amazing troll about Lighthouse, which is
Hmm.
that you have Northern Road every single time except for one spawn, which is near the road camp. There's maybe two. There's like 1 or 2 spawns near
I
the
think
road camp
these
where you
two.
don't get the Northern extract.
Yeah.
And like inevitably I forget because like
Maybe this one.
I'm in Lighthouse for like all eternity. I'd never leave Lighthouse early unless I'm literally just hitting chalet over and over. I like very rarely leave Lighthouse early. It's just like one of those maps where it's excruciating to navigate the map in general. So if I'm going anywhere near the road camp, it takes an eternity to do anything. You're like trying to stop yourself getting sniped from players, get yourself in a nice position, not die to rogues, and oh god, it just takes ages to move through the map. So inevitably, by the time there's like 13 minutes left, like I can't remember where I've spawned in, and I go to Northern Extract, and I'm just like, oh, I don't have it, and then I've got 6 minutes to go God knows where to try and fix my problem. Like I've definitely done that before. It's so annoying. But yeah, I mean the spawns on the south side, they're really bad, especially down the beach. You just feel like I can't move any. Like if I move, like it's proper you move you
Right.
die, like properly. If I
Yeah.
like go
No.
anywhere, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna get killed by another spawn.
Yeah.
I had one where I spawned in the middle, and I had the RPD, and I wasn't gonna kill him because it was too far away. But there was a guy like crawling, like he wasn't crawling, he was like crouch walking min speed
Is
down the
worming.
beach, and
Oh, okay.
I could see him, and I was just like, oh, this is funny. And so I just unloaded like the RPD with because I had US rounds in, so I was like, well, I'm never gonna hit him because he's probably 150 meters away or something. But I just was like, I just fired at this guy. And you can see him like, like trying to run away. So, there's like a torrent of fire just comes in from some unknown location in the middle. I was like, oh, that was worth it just to see the guy's reaction, like he'd freak out and run off. But yeah, it's just like really obvious. You're just like better off staying still. I agree. Oh, it's just painful. It's just painful. Like even as a sniping map though, it's like everybody knows now where not to be. So it's very difficult to like catch anybody in any of these areas unless they're really being, fast and loose on the top of the stupid rock. Then
Hmm.
it's hard to really even spot anyone because
Yeah.
that's just the
There's
way
a
the
lot of
map's
like
designed.
trees that block sight lines, which I'm sure is intentional, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's just like I don't know. Like the above the village is kind of good. Like off to the east, is that? Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that spot's kind of good. Like you can basically kind of extract camp people too, which I did have
Yeah.
one like that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just the map is just not enjoyable for me at all. Like I just don't see why people like. I mean, if you like it, that's fine. I think you're crazy, but I just don't see like the only upside for me is like if you get to kill rogues, you get bonus. You get like a good amount of XP. That's kind of it, really. And that's the thing too. Is like everything. Like most of the quests are inside the rogue camp. And my like, I feel like a fair amount of the loot is in rogue camp. Like, yeah, the chalets have like some like rare spawns, but like outside of that, there's like maybe 3 duffels, a couple weapon crates, and like maybe a technical crate here and there. Like that's it. Like I could go to shoreline, spawn at the village, loot the village, and leave and be full out that single. Like
Yeah.
I can't loot a chalet, a singular one, and get full. It's just like it's not happening. Which is like really bizarre to me because I back when Lighthouse came out, it was like coined loot house, right? But now it feels like there's like hardly any loot.
Yeah, it's not as good as it was. I mean, I still make surprising amounts every time I go and I have to do lighthouse stuff.
Hmm.
I do agree with you that it's got worse, but I still make like I'm always surprised whenever I go because I'm just like, oh, we're playing the game, and then I look after after the stream, I do like the tidy up in my stash or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, I made like 3 mil. Like I always find that I make like consistent money when I go. Um, but as you say, it's a pain, right? Because you could just go to village on shoreline and just like wander about and like grab stuff, whereas in Lighthouse, it's like, yeah, I got a load of stuff, but like I died in half of those raids, like fighting teams of 2 in the chalets and stuff, which
Mm.
is, kind of different. Like I had one where I was like, I fighting a team of 2. I left the chalet to like go further down the map, but I was sort of like just waiting outside to see if like they moved or wanted to like come after me or whatever. And then I got killed by the third guy who was coming up from the lower chalet. I was like, oh man, I just got pincered between 2 different groups because again, there's not really any other way to go. Like you can't run through the middle of the map at all. And you can't
Yeah,
really run down the beach. You have to go like through the rocks to like
right.
minimize sightline. So there's
And then
really
you do
like
that. This is the other thing that annoys me is like you're constantly making the falling sound,
yes,
and like the mantling works like half the time. I feel like maybe if you have auto mantle, it's smoother. But like I find like there's so many times where it's just like I'm spamming the mantle key and it just does nothing, and I'm like
yeah.
wiggling, moving, and it's like okay, I just have to jump and eat the jump, and then I jump and it's like super glide. Meow. I'm Neo now.
Yeah, I will say because I was looking forward to vaulting specifically for Lighthouse. I would say that it is better, but it's not better by anywhere near enough. Like previously, where I would get annoyed like 8 times out of 10, I feel like I get annoyed. I press mantle, and then a further 3 times out of 10, the mantling works. So, but I'm still irritated in 50% of scenarios where I'm like, either I can't jump properly or I have to jump when I should be able to mantle, but then mantle works randomly on one place where I didn't actually even expect it to, or yeah, it's just a bit of a sad time. Like I don't really mind playing chalets with a close range gun. I think this is partly the thing. Like I just don't like sniping on Lighthouse. Because like if you want to just play the map from any spawn point, I think this is like, it's just the way that the flow of the map works. It's just really awkward, right? If you want to go and play the road camp or really do anything and you spawn along the beach, you have to cross the road at some point somewhere.
Yeah.
So normally you go all the way as far up to the road camp as you can, and then you cross in the sort of construction-y bit in the road. Because that's like far enough away that people aren't going to snipe you, but far enough away from the road camp that they're also not going to shoot you. So you kind of have to, you basically have to cross there because you can't go across that first bridge, like the main bridge into the road camp. Like it's probably doable, but it's like extremely, extremely hard. Like you can snipe the first rogue on the main gun, and then you have to kill the second guy somehow, and then run straight in. Like it's just not the way people do it, right? People go to the bridge on the right. And that's like
that path is way more easier.
It's way easier because you can get either into building 3 directly without having to like fight anybody, or you can kill the 2 guys on the front from the side when they're not looking at you. That's why people do that. So the main bridge is pretty much off limits. So it means that if you're on the left side, if you're on the beach side, you have to get across somehow across the road. And then if you're like south, you have to go like, you're like, oh, I want to snipe, but like I've spawned Southern Road. So now I have to get past the chalet somehow. Like I have to walk through the chalet because there's no path through the mountains around the chalet. Like the best you could do is like run across that roof and run along the wall and hope you don't just get full autoed on your way through by somebody who's in there, right? Because it's not really a good way. Like the only other way that I've ever gone is just down the bottom next to the road, like in the center, just on the right hand side of the road, like under the chalets. But if you get spotted, you die, right? It's like you're probably not going to be heard from that distance, but you're just dead. There's no chance. Like I hardly get shot at from there because it means that they'd also be in quite an exposed position. But I just always feel terrible doing it. And so it's like, I think it's the fact that you have to get up into that right hand portion if you do want to do some sensible sniping into the road camp. You have to be up there, otherwise it just doesn't work. So I end up just playing Lighthouse. Like I just completely forgo the road camp most of the time if I can help it, and just play the chalets instead with like a red dot, and that usually works better for me. I find that more enjoyable, honestly, because I feel like at least I'm in a fair fight. I don't just, I'm running around, and then also the player scavs too on this map, right? It's like, oh, I'm playing with an SR25 with a an 8x scope or something, and then I just like some dude's just like in my face with a Kedda. And it's just like really, it's just not good. It's just not good, especially with the new recon model.
I like the one redeeming thing about Lighthouse is I like killing player scavs on it. I don't know, it just feels extra good on Lighthouse. It just feels extra good.
They are everywhere, so you can you can get a lot of kills.
I've gotten a fair amount of my long road kills and chalet kills on player scavs.
Wonder how far I'm through those. Like I definitely haven't completed those. Long road. I'm only at 3. But I've not been sniping, so
yeah, that's what I would do. Is if I got like, I mean, a lot of times that's what I just end up doing because it's just like it felt like I couldn't get north. Like I just didn't have a good spawn to engage with the rogues. And it was like, yeah. But I have gotten like more comfortable in the water treatment. Like which is kind of nice because it's kind of like the only thing to do on the map primarily. It's like the two kind of mindsets I got. It's like either I got like a pretty decent spawn for water treatment, or I got a spawn to loot chalets. And I guess the third option is I got a bad spawn, time to sit and wait in the corner for a bit. And then you hit the chalets, you get some loot, maybe you fight someone, and you take the red rebel extract and leave. But otherwise, yeah, I mean I don't know. I just can't wait to be done with this quest, dude. I need one more. And I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back to the map ever again. I just the way it's designed. Like the spawns is always an issue in Tarkov, right? Like no matter what map they come out with, because it's more of a foundational issue. Unless they like specifically design the map with that in mind, I suppose. But just the way it's designed and the flow of it, I think it's just bad. Straight up, it's just bad. And I feel like it wouldn't be as bad if the Lighthouse wasn't, locked off to like level 50 plus players or whatever it is.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think there's a design flaw with the Lighthouse itself and the way that Lightkeeper just works. Like I think he should have been an in-raid trader. You should have unlocked him relatively early. He should have like crazy requirements for like crazy stuff. But there needs to be a second like POI on the map. That's not just like the loot chalets and then the road camp. Like it needs to be something else, because right now there's no point the Lighthouse really being there. There's no point Lightkeeper being up there. Like he may as well just be stood at Southern Road as far as it
Yeah.
affects the gameplay, right? Like it doesn't change anything. Like once you've got there, nobody wants to lose their rep with him, right? Nobody wants to do that because it's really really harsh. So you can't kill people on there anyway.
That's the
So
crazy part too. Is like
it's pointless.
if I saw someone crossing it and I shot at them, and I was like, really, I was at the boats houses. I shot through the window, so they were like way out there. Like there was no shot I was hitting them, but I just did anyways. And I realized, damn, if I actually hit that guy, don't I just like lose like fence penalty or something? And then Zarachi just gonna snipe me next time I'm like anywhere in his line of sight or something. I'm like,
I
what kind of mechanic is that? That makes zero sense. Like I don't.
I think you
Who
both have to be on it,
designed
but
this?
I can't remember. Yeah,
Who designed this? Why am I losing fence?
yeah, it's weird.
Why does Fitz care? Like, I don't understand, dude.
Hence his Lightkeeper really woo.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know. No, it's weird. There's one other thing as well that I gripe about, which is again, it's just like the optimization. Um, like
Yeah.
Lighthouse needs to be included for me in that tick box for streets. Like it's annoying. Oh, this is actually something quite cool. I don't know whether I might have talked about this previously. Oh yeah, I think I talked about this last week actually. But you know, since I discovered this, you can just interchangeably swap between low and medium textures without worrying about it. But like it's annoying because when I'm playing Lighthouse, I basically just have my textures on low the whole time. And inevitably I forget. And then I play Factory and it looks like, you know,
Mud.
mud central,
Yeah.
which is just a pain. So I wish that, you know, either there was there should just be a separate checkbox for Lighthouse low quality settings, the
Mhm.
same way as Streets, just to minimize that, you know, texture quality like VRAM like problem, because I have the same thing on Lighthouse. My frames are actually kind of okay. They're like not that bad, honestly. They're
Yeah.
fine. But something to do with the way that the RAM works and the RAM unloads and VRAM and blah blah blah. And then I relieve the RAID or whatever, and it like while I'm multi-streaming, it just crashes the Twitch stream. If I'm running medium textures, crashes the Twitch stream like one, and it's also like one in every 4 raids as well. I don't know why. It's just really bizarre. But yeah, as per chat, every map should have its own graphic settings. Yeah, you should
I
be
was
able
gonna
to
say
set
you
it
could
for
just have
each
like a
map. Why not?
yeah, you could just have all the maps listed and it's check boxes beside them.
Yeah,
You
it'd
could
be
do
really
that.
cool. You could set like post effects for each map then also, which would be pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
If you really
Yeah, you
wanted to.
could.
But that's the other thing that annoys me about it. It's just still not very well optimized. I mean, it is hard to do culling on Lighthouse, in fairness, just
That's
because
probably the biggest issue,
you stood
right?
on the mountain. It's just like, well, you can see everything, right? Like, what can really be
Right.
culled? Not very much. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of at this stage of acceptance with Lighthouse. Like, I tend not to just get killed off the spawn anymore, but that's only because like I know, you know.
Right.
Like, I spent so long on Lighthouse just getting killed off spawn by random people sitting where they were spawning and that kind of stuff. I've sort of been through that phase. Like, I'm still not comfortable with the road camp. I'm just not. Like, people just say like, "Oh, just go and watch the YouTube video," and I'm just like, dude, I just don't like. It doesn't
But
like. It feels bad to watch the video. I then forget what was in the video, and it feels bad fighting the rogues. And then I just die, and it feels terrible. And I'm not incent. I just don't want to do it. I hate doing it. I hate everything about it. Right? I hate playing against them. I hate watching the strategies to play against them. I hate trying to play the. It feels like such a waste of time. I don't know. I just don't, I really don't enjoy it. It's like part of the game that I
this is
really
not
hate.
engaging. That's it. It's just not engaging gameplay.
I just don't find it engaging at all. So that's why I tend not to go there. And if I do, I like wander around the chalets, like other places, through the village, kill some scouts, whatever. And then I'm like, right, it's 20 minutes left. Like it's time to go to the road camp because people farm them for XP. Like they're almost all dead by the time I get there. So I usually
Yeah,
just wait
yeah.
till other people have killed them. And then I go and do the quest in there. Like otherwise, like if I don't have a quest to do, like, yeah, normally I probably wouldn't visit the map at all, but like I definitely wouldn't go to the road camp.
I mean, I was doing basically the same thing you were saying for a bit, but it's like, dude, I need those vertexes. I need these kills. Like, I can't find any PMCs because I don't know where they are. They probably apparently they're taking Southern Road now, and the guy that got the God spawn has already killed all the rogues and is looting his way out. It's like sometimes it's hard to find, and then that's when I like had to look up the spawns. It's like, okay, I
Mm.
can't find PMC kills. I keep dying. Let me look at the spawns. Like, oh, that's why I keep dying because I take 10 steps and he sees me. Okay, that makes sense. But it's weird too because I think I watched like Sheep's guides on it because I watched the ones where the rogues would charge you and you would sit in the different rooms and do
Yeah.
that. And then he did like an updated one or just was like just a video about it or whatever. And or maybe it was an older one I saw. And since they changed it to where like if I'm getting this right, what happened was like people figured out how to farm them, and it was like this route, and you just slow leaned and shot them right. Well,
Yeah.
BSG is like, we don't like that. Our game's hardcore. We have to make it hardcore. So now, if you slow lean, they'll see you and beam you. But if you quick peek, if you just like tap the lean key and then shoot them once you like line it up, like time it right, they don't see you. So it's like the exact same thing. It's just it's a new mechanic that you do, and it's the same spots. It's like very formulaic. It's okay, because there is ground rogues that still like charge you. So I enjoyed this version much more, but and I've been going night too because I just like I'm
Oh,
bear, so there's just certain spots on the map that I just can't go. With
yeah.
like for example, the past Marin, like anywhere on those rocks on the beach, I can't go there. I can't even check and see if the gunner's there or not because the GL will start hitting me.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I guess I can't play this side of the map,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
sucks. But that's my choice, right? I pick bear.
That's the
And
thing,
there's
right? I'm
even
playing
some
USEC, right? And
spots.
it's still god awful.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I mean, it's a lot more
yeah.
bearable, right?
It's a
I
lot
went
more
and did like,
bearable.
planting the markers, go and visit the drug lab, all of that stuff. And I was just like, I just ain't shooting any rogues. Like, I can just walk around the map like a player scav and it's completely fine. So I did all of that first. And like, now I'm on okay, now I've got to go in. Now I've probably got to kill the rogues. But I did all the easy stuff first without killing them. Because I was like, well, I also have this extra advantage. If people are fighting me while they're fighting rogues, like, they've got to think about the rogues. But like, I don't because they're not shooting
Hmm.
at me. So it's actually a huge advantage. It's how I got loads of the stuff done early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good strategy.
Like, the thing that annoys me the most about the way that the map is now is that I actually kind of got to grips with Lighthouse and the roots and used to snipe them off the rocks up on the top. And then they were
Right.
just like, oh, we're going to add claymores up there because like you're having too much fun, right? And ever since the claymores went up there, like kind of in the same vein as you, it's just like, I just don't want to learn where they are. Like, it just feels like such like formulaic,
There's
like dead, you know, brain dead like type gameplay. It's just like lame, right? Yeah, and there's
yeah,
loads of them, but they're just in that one bit. If you like go a bit further, then there aren't any anymore. But
but they're
yeah,
like
it's just
what, like they're little specks. This is on like a 2D map. Like, how
yeah.
am I ever gonna like look at the game and then look at my second monitor and be like, oh yeah, this Claymore's here about like trial and error, and they instantly kill you. Not like the mines. Like the mines, you get one forgiveness. You hit a mine
Hmm.
for that next 5 minutes. I think if you hit another mine, you're just dead.
And why can't you shoot them?
Why can't you can't see them? They're
I don't
invisible.
know
It's
why.
just
Like,
like, and this is the thing.
it would almost be bearable if you could shoot them. But the fact that they're like indestructible is like
Yeah,
excruciatingly annoying. Like, that just doesn't even make any sense, right? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, if you know exactly, you have to like learn where they are, and then you're not allowed to defuse them in any way either. It's like that's just like the
right.
most like just like I would at least be incentivized to go and learn where they are if I could like either go and stand behind them and defuse them or whatever, or like shoot them with a pistol or something, anything. But the fact that you can't destroy them, it just is rubbish, right? I really
And
don't like. It's just I'm not into that.
and it's the crazy part. Like the so backwards part about it is like when the map came out, there was no claymores. So someone intentionally designed the map in geography to where you could get up on there and shoot the rogues, and then retroactively they retcon and be like, you know what? There's actually not supposed to be up here. We're just going to solve the solution to the problem by putting claymores there. Hardcore game, by the way. It's
Yeah,
just like
and you just have to learn it.
yeah, it's it's a pretty bad map. I don't I just can't really find any redeeming. The only redeeming value for it, which is like not even it's like cope, is that as I said, you get XP from the rogues, and then there's one quest, revision Lighthouse. That's the only quest I'd recommend doing, unless you're going for like Kappa or whatever. Actually, maybe killing scavs at the chalet. The SA-58 barter is pretty good. It's like 3 hard drives and 2 6 RAMs or something.
Oh,
Like
I
if you want
don't
to build
know.
a long boy
Hmm.
SA-58, uh from my Mechanic 4 of all the fancy parts. That's a good base because you pay like 60K or maybe like depending on the prices of stuff. Whereas if you buy a brand new SA-58 from Peacekeeper, it's like
Some
900
stupid money.
USD, which
Yeah.
comes out to like 140,000 rubles. Like it's a lot
Yeah, and then there's that other barter, the one that I've been doing, which is the like 8
for
weapon
shorty.
parts one, which is like
Yeah, that one's
160K,
nice.
but you get the 50 rounder and like all the other stuff. So That
Yeah.
one I quite like. I do quite like doing that. Like I used it a bit. I've used the SA-58 a little bit. Like it's good. Honestly, the gun is good. I think. Like I think the gun is good now. Genuinely. Uh, yeah, it takes big bullets, 700 RPM. You can put a 50 drum in it, like no problem. I like it. I was using it with attack 30. I was using it on Lighthouse even. I killed somebody up on Stupid Rock with it. Like I just like. I picked up the SA-58 a couple of times and it's just felt like solid. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite
Yeah.
gun of all time, but like in that
Feels
category, it's
actually
like
usable.
it feels good. Like it feels fine. Yeah, it feels fine. I don't think it's like head and shoulders ahead of like some of the others necessarily. Like it's obviously quite good in CQB. You get into a fight or whatever, and you've got the big drum and you've got the RPM. You can just like brute force straight through people, which is quite fun. But I'm predominantly using BCP anyway, which
Mm.
arguable. I don't know. Like I think the difference between everybody's like freaking out about M80. I think like BCP FMJ is like a lot better than people think, especially given just the way that the armor works and the plate's like tiny little bit, and then they're wearing class 5. It probably doesn't do the thing anyway. Like it's just like I don't know if the difference is as big as people making it out to be, but
Well, I will say for sniping, I feel like M80 is like the kind of like the entry point. I mean, I guess you could do
for
BCP.
sniping,
I don't
sure, because you want
know.
the pen for the class 4 helmets. That's like the main reason.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
would say that's
sniping.
the
I agree.
case.
But yeah, this is more like dude's in the stupid rock, and my barrel is like in his face, 2 meters away.
Hmm. Yeah,
Out the drum. Let's go. Got like RPD energy. I just like I love the RPD so much. Honestly, every time I use it, it just brings me joy. I was in factory with it yesterday, using the RPD as well, just for like just some jokes and shenanigans. And I killed one player. I've got to get like one more kill in the office area, but like nobody ever goes. So I've like done it a bunch of times and just like no one's there. And yeah, just like running around. I ended up just like sitting in the raid and just like basically baiting player scavs into coming to fight me. Like I stayed like way too long. I was like I overstayed my welcome by a significant proportion. And but just like people kept coming and I kept like gunning them down with the RPD with US in it. And it was just so much fun. Like I was wearing the LSH 2 DTM helmet with the visor. So I had like class 4
yeah,
all over my
yeah.
head at least.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like I had the neck unprotected, like the throat bit was unprotected, but I had like the class 4 Thor on with the 2 side plates, the 3 backing and stuff. So I was like feeling pretty confident against scavs, especially with the 100 rounders. It was just a lot of fun. Like people come around the corner and you're just like shooting at them. And the one player that I killed, I didn't even realize like he was looking. I think he had a shotgun. He was like looking through the grate outside. There's if you are not on the vending machine side, if you're on the other stairwell, the one that's closest to gate 0, you walk out of the office to the right, and
Hmm.
like ahead of you is those like platforms. There's like metal platforms out of like the hole in the wall. I was like right at the bottom, and he was on like the first metal walkway, and I came out and I was like, oh, there's a guy there, and then we kind of looked at each other, and he looked at me, and it's like you're never really sure if you can actually shoot through the metal grate, right? Because like a lot of it sort of absorbs a lot of bullets, and he kind of looked at me, and I looked at him, and then I just was like, left click and just held the button down through the metal floor, and it took ages. It was just like grrr, just like slowly killing him, and he's like trying to get away, and just like slowly got US'd. I think he had a shotgun or something, so he wasn't going to be able to kill me through the metal. Um, but yeah, it's just funny, especially with the US ammo, because it doesn't kill them immediately, and it's not that accurate on like the full auto mode. So it takes them a while to die, but like they're desperately trying to escape. They get like a good like 2 to 3 seconds like trying to leave the zone of fire, and it's like, yeah, the bullets ain't stopping, right? There's 100 in this baby, so it's just they just slowly just like get whittled away and then just succumb. It's wonderful. It's wonderful fun.
I actually did try the SA or sorry, the RPD
Oh yeah.
with US ammo.
Okay.
However, I may have made some critical mistakes in my decision making.
Where did you take it?
Interchange.
Okay.
We got a bad spawn,
Right.
so we went outside along the wall. I
Uh-huh.
also put a PSO scope on it,
Okay. That's not
and
necessarily terrible.
it gets worse. Giga. Um, so yeah, it was basically we spawned highway like on the furthest southern side if you're looking at the map,
Oh yeah, that one.
and
The
yeah,
no
I was
man's
like,
land spawn.
yeah, I was with a buddy, and I was like, dude, this is not a good spawn. Like, there's spawns ahead of us, there's spawns to the left. Like, we should just go around the outskirts.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then he was like inside where the you marked the minibus, kind of like looking around, see if there's anything. And me, I just want to get inside the mall. We were like in Scavs or at the set and the other. So I'm like kind of going up ahead, and I'm already past that to the next little segment where there's like a wired fence and you know stuff in the parking lot, whatever. And so I'm moving. I'm like, kind of like in the ditch in between the road and the fence. And then I'm sprinting. And then out of the corner of my eye, I see someone. I think I started crossing the road because I was going to go towards like that little duffel bag where the campfire is at and the little
Yeah.
chair. And I see someone there and he's looking right at me like, crap. She's speed. I'm like, there's a guy I need help. So I try to like jump. I'm behind the tree. And I'm like, dude, this is terrible. I have a PSO scope and I have US ammo. I can't like zero it. It's like I have no reference. You know what I mean? It's just like this. Sometimes like this zeroing scope issue is just like what we were shooting at a moving target 200 meters on Lighthouse, and I watched the recording because we weren't hitting him, and like we had to lead our shots way more than what we thought. It
Mm.
was just like this is just like some weird like nebulous science thing that's hard to understand. So yeah, it's like I have no idea where I need to aim to shoot this guy. So I'm just trying to stall for him to come. So I'm like dancing behind a tree, jumping around, healing my heavy bleeds. This guy's like hitting me so many times. I'm turning around and we get hit the back plate now this time. I got like 3 heavy bleeds and I fixed them all, right? How he starts hitting my legs. Well, I'm on painkillers, thankfully. But eventually it's just like I'm just gonna leg this guy. Eventually afterwards I found he had an SVT because I would like gauge. I was like, okay, he shoots 10 times and then there's like a gap, so I need to like drop for the back. Well, my buddy comes, but he doesn't. He's kind of like hasn't played a lot of interchange before, so he crosses over to the blue fence because I tell him he's like, he's up against the blue fence, like like please save me. But because he goes to the blue fence, the way the geometry is, the heel like kind of goes up. So he can't see the guy, but he doesn't
Mm.
know this, nor does he know. Like he can see the muzzle flashes, but he doesn't want to like overcommit or whatever. I was like, please save me. So eventually I ended up dying because I was debating about popping the green stem. But what happened was before I died, I was like, okay, I was just gonna like send shots down range, right?
Yeah.
And I was like aiming kind of high, but I have no idea if it was doing anything. And then I saw my buddy, but I thought, like, I don't know, my reaction was just to like switch targets. So I switched to him, and then I realized, oh, that's my buddy. So apparently, I pegged him a couple times and gave him a heavy bleed. But I don't know if I ever hit the guy up top. Anyways, long story short, he cleaned it up. It was all good, but it was a very bad series of decision making. Yeah, pretty much decision making.
A
Pretty
skill issue.
classic
A
church
skill
stuff
issue is
is
what you're saying.
well,
Not
not
even
quite.
that. Not even that. Just like
Just
setting
very
yourself
poor
up for
decision
failure.
making. Yes, very poor decision making. I had no business putting a PSO scope on that thing with US ammo and being outside and going in a very open area.
I think your best bet, like so far, having used it with an Elcan, a red dot, and with a Monstrum. I think the Monstrum 2X is probably like the best, as far as I'm seeing.
Mhm,
Or just like, oh yeah, or just a red dot, like is fine. Depending on what
mhm.
map you're on. But yeah, if you want a little bit more reach, then. But I think like, yeah, if you're gonna go longer range, if you're going like interchange or whatever, like when I went, I did it on Lighthouse as well, just because I thought it was funny. But
With US ammo?
yeah. But you probably should. But you probably shouldn't do that, right? Like I think that's a mistake. You should probably go with PS and not
Yeah, that's what I'm
T45
thinking.
either, because you're just going to be like doing full on Star Wars Stormtrooper because it's a tracer.
Well, see, the interesting thing about that is like in some ways I feel like the tracer could be an advantage for you. Like it's a disadvantage and advantage. The advantage is you get to see where your shots are going. So like if you need to lead more, you can like kind of see that,
Yeah, you can see where it's going, I guess. But
But of course they can see where the shots are coming from. So
yeah, yeah. So like it's good, but yeah, it's kind of like short range. It's probably be quite good for customs, I guess.
yeah,
Like something like that,
this
like
is
customs
pretty
would be
good.
okay. Like reserve, I feel like might be okay in certain circumstances. Like I used it on reserve. I used the RPD on reserve, and then a bit on Lighthouse just for funsies, and mostly on
Mhm.
factory because it's just just the chug cannon. I've not even been using like a 2x2 in my rig. I just put it in the backpack, and then when I need to reload, I just right click reload. Because I think I talked about that last time. Um,
I, s- I saw another trick you can do where I mean, this is kind of nothing new, but it's slipped my mind. Is you just swap it down into the other slot, and then you unload and then install through the menu, and then swap it back up, and it's good to go. You get the new mag in.
What do
You're
you
not,
mean swap it where?
so what in your sling? So like, let me see if I can go window mode. So you
Oh, is that
take
worth doing? Like you take your gun and you put it into the other slot. It
yeah,
removes
so
it
you
from
take in
your
the other
hands.
slot,
Oh, that's actually
and
probably way quicker. Actually, thinking about it,
oh yeah, it's way
because the
quick. And
reload is like really long.
the only animation is the gun going away and coming back.
Yeah.
So
And you
I
can
got
so you can switch. You can pop it into the second slot. Hands don't follow with the slot, so your hand's empty. You then do
oh,
right click reload. It'll unload and reload just in one click, I think, and then you just put it back in. That's actually big brain. That's good. I've not been doing that. That makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
that's it.
Yeah, like that's really quick. Okay, that's much faster. Yeah, because the RPD's reload animation is like turbo garbage.
Yeah,
Not that you really should
yeah,
be. I mean, I did actually run out on factory, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in trouble now," and I had to do a reload in like one of the tunnels underneath. I was like sprinting away, like desperately trying to get the moment so I could go into the inventory. Uh, good fun, good fun. Um, shall we? What do you think? Should we run through some like audio stuff next? I'd like to talk about that. I
yeah.
think.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So this is basically, I'm what I'm basically going to do is like summarize the stuff that I've learned from Omni Actual, because like
Mm-hmm.
he's been the one doing all of this. Like I've mentioned him before a little bit, right? And there was this ongoing saga of like audio, which was the whole like underground in reserve test, which then everybody thought that the headsets didn't make any difference, and then people said they were starting to not use headsets anymore. Like I've heard like lots of people come and ask me about this even now. And then Omni like repeated his test and showed that it was still the same, and that headsets do have a range, and that it's the same as it was before. The test ended up with I can't remember whether I mentioned this last time, which was that the tests had a little bit of an extension on them, which was that headsets only give you the audio range boost from the front in like a 140-degree angle. So it's quite wide. So it's like most of your front half you can get the boost in. But if somebody comes up from behind, it's as if you're not wearing a headset in terms of the audio distance increase, which is really interesting. You kind of like need to be like swiveling around more than you think. Otherwise, you might
Mm-hmm.
not hear somebody who's coming behind. Like even if say you've got contact fours on, you can hear somebody up to 80 meters walking normally, or like 80 meters walking overweight or whatever. Like you will only hear them at 50 meters behind you, so you do have to be kind of careful about that. So that was definitely new information for this wipe. Like I've not seen that been ever tested before. It was like somebody's idea about it, and it turns out that that is actually the way it works, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Um, he's carried on doing some more tests. I haven't seen much more about the snow. I know that like as part of the patch notes, we said that the snow footsteps kind of went down. I saw like some people had done some little testing, which was that crouch footsteps on snow is still the same as like standing footsteps on snow. So it's still audible, but it's quite a close range. It's like 10 meters or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it's like, it seems like actually a sort of sensible range, honestly. That feels like it's okay. It's like silent up until about 10 meters away, and then you can be heard. Like that's enough distance for like if you're in good cover, they won't be able to just like kill you, but you can like be relatively quiet for like a reasonable distance. I feel like that's probably okay. But then yeah, so he did like a whole video test about binaural and about like other audio bugs and stuff. So the most important one, I was not aware that the like step bug, as I call it, was a binaural thing. But apparently it is. That doesn't happen if you don't have binaural on. So this is specifically the phenomenon that I've talked about previously, and I'm sure you have it too, right? Where you're
Yeah.
sat doing whatever, and you suddenly hear it's like half of a footstep sound, like half
But
footstep
it's
audio, and then it goes away
yeah.
immediately.
It
But
sounds like they took a singular overweight sprint step, is what it sounds like to me.
yeah, something like that, and it's like maybe slightly cut off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That only happens on binaural.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen without binaural. And
Which
yeah,
is that not sorry to cut you off, but is that not how Steam used to work to an extent? Steam
to an
audio?
to an extent, because Steam Audio used to have the same thing, but also for key turns and stuff. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's now limited or reduced down to like mainly steps.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently in their testing, Omni and Co managed to get it to appear for grenades. and for shooting, like bullet sounds as well as
Oh, like
steps.
pulling pins?
The actual
Or
blast, I think,
oh,
I
okay.
believe. I believe anyway. But the sort of long and the short of it was like if you hear the sound pop and there's no grenades going off and there's no one shooting, you can be pretty certain it's either a player or a player scav or a scav of some kind. Like AI scavs do it too sometimes. But there's also no like real rhyme or reason why it happens. It's not every time. You can have
Hmm.
like 4 people all next to each other, all with binaural on, and only one of them will hear it, which is really strange.
That's really interesting.
Some people suspected that if the other player didn't have binaural on, then it wouldn't happen. But that's also not true, apparently, it turns out. So it's just like
Hmm.
kind of random. They managed to get it to happen from what they said. What Omni was saying anyway, was he said that they managed to get it to happen the most when uh when there was like multiple layers of like occlusion. It didn't happen that frequently out in the open. But when there's like trees in the way and stuff, it seemed to happen the
Hmm.
most. Like maybe if there's like a hill and stuff, like if you don't have direct line of sight, at least, it seemed to happen more frequently. Anyway, it's all kind of funky. Like I sympathize with him when he was like, I didn't go to test like the exact requirements needed to fully replicate this thing, but it's pretty damning about like the conditions in which they managed to make it happen at least. But like it's a significant advantage for using binaural
Yeah. Oh,
because of this,
yeah.
right? Like, and it also explained like sometimes you just die to people who just knew where you were, and it's like, well, sometimes you kill people because you just knew where they were, like you knew they were coming, and you could chalk it down to okay, it's still kind of audio. Like, would you have heard them coming anyway? Like, I guess, but like the audio is like highly directional as well, so like it really does tell you
Yeah.
where they are,
Oh, yeah. And
which
plus,
is
too, you
kind
don't
of nuts.
like. I've always assumed that was like they're running. Um. So like I know they're coming this way. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of unfortunate that you get that essentially free information.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize that what you said, not everyone hears it, which kind of explains how sometimes I'll be like, I'll say running, even though I know it was just the step bug,
Mm,
but it seems like my duo was oblivious, which kind of makes sense now
yeah.
that you say that. So yeah, that's a really weird bug.
Yeah. So like if you want to go and see the full video, I do implore you to go to Omni Actual's YouTube channel and go and watch it because he's been doing lots of this kind of testing and really is the one who's been keeping the conversation sane around this, I would
Hmm.
say, in the face of like all kinds of claims and spurious information and yada yada. So go and check his channel out. He's been doing a lot of work over there on it, which is good. Because like I've not looked into this myself, right? This stuff takes ages. I'm
Oh
spending so
yeah.
long doing armor and other stuff, right? Like if I'd spend my entire life testing, I'd never actually make any videos or stream. Um, it's already a problem trying to prioritize all of those things. It's pretty good. There was also yeah, there you go. The church has popped his channel up on the screen there. Like, is binaural better? Audio direction matters. There was like another bug that was in there as well, which he explains really well, but like very broadly, it kind of explains the bullet crack bug. I feel that the bullet crack bug is like better. I don't really get it much anymore. And I don't know whether they've like improved it or something, but I feel like I used to complain about it constantly on stream, which was I would just suddenly be getting like bullet
Oh,
crack
that's
sounds.
right. I remember that. Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be anywhere near as common as it was. I really don't feel like I've had that as bad this vibe. But in this video, Omni also does show some extra stuff about like the bullet crack bug itself. It's more about suppression. Like, it's the classic thing. Like we knew this, I mean, at least I knew this information previously, which was that if somebody is in front of you and they shoot away from you, if you're along the line of the bullet, because of the way the calculation, it seems, is like direction agnostic, right? It's like bi-directional for some reason. Like maybe it makes the
Hmm.
calculation easier or whatever, but the way they've implemented it is that you get suppression effect even if they're firing away from you, if they're in the same line as you. And that was the
Yeah.
reason. That was the same thing as the old bullet crack bug. Like if you were in the same line forwards facing, but like terrain was in the way, well, it didn't matter. You got bullet crack. And if you're behind them, then you also got bullet crack. So like if you were anywhere along that linear line, but yeah. Anyway, he goes into more detail in his video if you're interested about that. But like it
Hmm.
explains a bit more about why that happens and how that manifests in this wipe, which it still does. But as I said, I think it's a lot. I'm finding it a lot less impactful. Like I don't think I ever get like bullet crack anymore. It's more like maybe a suppression effect or something out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But
The suppression one, I
so that's
not the
still in,
crack, but
but the crack seems to be gone.
yeah.
Um, Anyway, it's super interesting. Go and check out the videos because it's good. It's good. And like I always reference his stuff in terms of, and it'll actually show you examples like this latest one, like the one that Church is playing on screen right now for those who have video. So yeah, Escape from Tarkov, binaural audio on or off, and that'll like show you examples of what the bullet crack bug sounds like and stuff. So it's like useful to know. Like if you haven't noticed it and you have binaural on, you're probably just like not aware of exactly what it sounds like. But it's like once you know, it's a huge benefit
Yeah.
to like to know about it while it's still in the game, right? If other people are using it, you may as well too. So yeah, that was. I just think it's interesting to like come full circle um and to at least just finalize that discussion. I don't know of any other testing that's going on, but I think this is sort of well. Hopefully, this is it for now. Headset chart still stands. Used binaural, pretty good, and the bullet crack bub doesn't seem to be as bad, but is still there in some fashion. Just things to be aware of.
Yeah, it's interesting about the snow change, kind of like jumping ship a little bit, was because they lowered the volume, but me and my buddy just today tested it where I was curious if you could hear me silent walk on snow,
Yeah,
and cannot. It's, you can hear around like 10 meters ish, I think.
yeah,
It's quieter, of course, but which is interesting because, like, the snow, you can't silent walk, but if you're inside
you
a
can.
non-snow surface, you can. And you can, still like last swipe where you're overweight, it works. Like, it just doesn't care as long as you are on the lowest setting, crouch walking,
Yeah,
which to me feels like a bug when you think about it because they added a new sound that's tied to this certain property, surface material, but it's not like one of the two things are a bug. Either it wasn't included in the silent walking capabilities or the silent walking itself is a bug. I don't
yeah.
know. But I watched a video from Summit 1G,
hmm
who was I guess was just like a clip. Not from like Summit's official, maybe was it Summit's official channel? It might have been. Maybe it was because he's got like anyways, there's like the fan run channels or whatever. Um, and now I can't find the video. But anyways, he was going on a rant about how the silent walking is kind of busted, which I thought he actually did a really good job articulating his points. And in essence, he was like saying how it's broken because you can like okay, it's a lot of the stuff we're talking about like information. It's on the Jaren channel. Okay, thank you. Oh, I am on the right one. Um, so he was like in interchange, right? And he's going on. Oh, here it is. Here it is. He was going on a rant, right? And so he's like, he just wanted to demonstrate how broken it was. And essentially, his thing is like, you hear a guy coming, you stop, you crouch walk, and now you have like you've gained the information where he's at approximately, and now you can reposition to get angle on him without providing any information to him, right?
Yeah,
Whereas like previously, if you want to do that, you had to pay the cost of also giving information. It wasn't as loud as sprinting, of course, but there's a trade-off. And the interesting part that he mentioned too was that because there's so much like visual noise in the game, so many angles, so many different things, it's like even more in favor for like the crouch walking because how are you going to see this tiny like the 3 pixels
mm,
on your screen leaning around the corner? So I don't know because I've seen Tig say that he thinks it's a bug as well. That it's like you're somehow getting the max bonus of covert elite at all levels because I don't know. Maybe I think it's. We could look it up real quick.
Six thinks it's a covert movement bug.
Yes, which I
I'm not sure.
well let me ask you this: Are
Covert
you
movement doesn't make you silent, right? But
elite cover mode becomes equally quiet on all surfaces, minus 60% total? Yeah, I guess you're right.
so I don't know where that came. I don't know where that like came from. The idea that it is
Yeah,
like it's the like the skill is glitched. I don't know where that information has
Mm-hmm.
originated from. I mean, this is the thing, and as per chat's conversations as well, what do BSG want? Is it a bug? Is it not? I mean, I guess like we could ask an even more important question, which is like, what do we want? Because like
Mm-hmm.
BSG probably don't really know or care. Like, do we want people to be able to be heard like on snow? Like, do we think the snow model is good? 10 meters, it's quiet. Outside of that, it's silent. I would say that's pretty good middle ground. But I'm not really sure what the uh, what the player base actually wants. To be totally honest, um, like some people quite like zero audio movement, right? Which is it's just it's
Well,
strange.
yeah, I think it's too strong because like playing on this is funny too because in this is off his stream. He gave his rent and he's like, "Okay, guys, I'm going to use the bathroom," and he gets up and leave, and then there's a player scap crouch walking past the screen on him, completely dead silent the whole time. It was a stream sniper, but it was just like it was just comedic timing. It was great,
It's good. That is good.
but no, what I was gonna say is like playing. It's like there's like oh, for example, Lighthouse in the road camp. It's like you're outside. As soon as you go inside, I know I can instantly crouch walk and be dead silent. So like you use the knowledge of the floor to your advantage, where it's like the people outside they don't have like it's so imbalanced in that aspect. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it is like insanely. I think it's too strong. Is kind of my thing because I even noticed like Sheaf. I was watching Sheaf. I've been watching a lot of Sheaf, but Landmark does this too. It's like they all use like crouch walk, the silent part. Like he, this is
Of
actually
course.
really funny too.
It's super strong.
Yeah, yeah. But Sheaf like he's playing streets, and someone had shot at him from like the windows near the street in between Subway and Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
So he like flanked around through like the warehouses, industrial. Anyways, so then he like gets inside the building, he crouch walks the entire way, all the way up to the second floor, and he's like right behind the guy. And he gets like right up next to him, and I think he was gonna like wipe at him, but when he did that, someone went prone or like stood up from prone. So he shot the guy, turned around, shot the other guy that like had went prone or something because I guess he saw him or something. But it was so funny because he literally like for 5 minutes he just got right up to this guy. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's too strong in its current incarnation. Like I shouldn't be able to, and I've been killed by it before, right? Where I was in a room and there was a guy like crouch walking outside up the hallway. Like you shouldn't
Hmm.
be able to be literally on like the other side of the wall to me, like directly on the other side. Like we were within 50 centimeters for the entire time. I was like organizing loot in my bags or something, and he like crept up along the outside and came into my room and left peeked and killed me. And I had like zero audio at all. Like I don't think that's okay. But I don't think that you should lose all benefit either. I feel like my personal understanding of it or my experience of it is that it should be the same between crouch walking and crouch like being sorry min speed walking and min speed crouching. I think those should be the same, um, like it is on snow basically, and that somewhere in the sort of 5 to 10 meter range. Because the thing is, a lot of this is less about like volume and like how loud is it. It's more about just like where is the first time that it is audible. That's really a lot of where like you either hear it or you don't, right? And I know that some of that is subjective, but that's really more important. Like when do you hear it? When do you not hear it? Like when is it actually feasible to hear over, say, like the background noise or whatever? And I feel that that's somewhere in the 5 to 10 meters range, probably at 10 even, because like I mean you could still hear somebody walking on interchange and you could still reposition, but like you just can't like wheel round the pole while they walk past and then
Yeah,
like be
yeah.
completely none the wiser and you shoot them literally in the back like that. I feel that that's like it's not great for it to be like so cut and dried that like you are just definitely silent, because you're still like recently I've been using the like crouched walk a lot more. Sorry, I always say crouched, but like the slow walk a lot more, because I'm like, okay, well after testing it, like I know where the range is now. It's like 10 meters, so like I feel like I don't need to just go like completely silent now. I'm like, okay, well
Hmm.
I know where the range is, so if I walk here, they still won't hear me. Like as outside of weather station, for example, like they were in the building. I'm just like, well, if I walk up to them, it's quicker than being crouched, but I'll get there faster. Like they still won't hear me until I'm really close. Then I'll like crouch walk or whatever. But that was even on snow, so I knew it was kind of the same. But either which way, I think it is probably better to have it needs to be audible from some distance, like even if it's like kind of close, because there's just these silly situations that don't make sense otherwise. In its current incarnation, I think.
Yeah, until then, I'm gonna keep abusing the crap out of it
Oh
though,
yeah,
because
I mean, of
it
course.
is insanely good. Some
Yeah.
some people in chat brought up some good points about like ADS noise, which I also too kind of have like gripes with. Is like it sucks because like sometimes you're just ADS and then suddenly you hear someone running and it's like crap. I hear them running from like however long away. I feel like I can't ADS because what if they hear me? You know what I mean?
Well, I can't
So it's
un-ADS, but I'm losing arm stamina. It's like really rough.
exactly. It is. So it's like but I mean that maybe that's the cost you pay, but it does, and it technically if you do like level up or no have a really high area gun, it is a lot quieter. So I guess there's something there, and maybe weight is there, but yeah, there is some things that's just like the spinning thing is so annoying. Like there's
Or the
this
spinning
weird
foot noise.
yeah, there's this weird like sometimes I will just like crouch and it's like I'm still, and then all I want to do is just like look to my left a little bit, and then suddenly my character spins. And it's like, okay, now I want to look to my right a little bit. He spins, and it's literally like the 90 degrees point right in front of me is like the pivot point and it's like, how did I ended up on that? I was, what I mean, it's just like, how did I ended up where literally I move any pixel left or right, I'm like making the spinning noise. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it all just depends on exactly like where your feet landed when you like stopped or
Yes.
whatever. So that's why you always have to move slightly when you turn, like always, 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 because I can never trust what
Hmm.
the character's going to do either, or like what I might not hear it. Maybe they'll hear it. Like I'm so paranoid about those kind of sounds, so I'm just like, well, always move a little bit because I know it's silent when I move, and I won't get the foot spin noise when I move. So I always have to move a bit when I turn because I don't want to like risk it unless I'm like setting up and I know no one's there. Then I can like test it, whatever. But yeah, it's just like it's annoying. It is annoying. Um, what else were people saying about like slow ADS? I feel like that would make sense. Like there's a lot of things in the game that could do with the slow, like slow door opens, slow ADS.
Yeah, like just something where you feel like you have a bit more like control. Like that's the cool
Yeah,
part about
because that could
the
also be sub 10
scale.
meters, you know.
Yes.
And you take it like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a zero ergo ADS or whatever, but it's like
Or
real slow.
yeah,
You
maybe
don't
it
go
just
clunk.
uh, yeah, what they could do is like because I really liked the fact that you could scale your speed, right? Like it's in steps.
Yeah.
But like most of the time we're just using fast and slow, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll do the scroll, but if what if the ADS speed was tied to your scroll? Like if you're on the lowest setting, then you just like always do I mean that's probably gonna be one of those
Yes.
things. It's like,
Like you don't
oh,
always want
but
it to do
sometimes I
that
want the
though.
quick. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
So again, it needs to be
Anyways,
another modifier key and another thing.
yeah.
Like, oh my
Never
word.
mind, bad idea. Scratch it, scratch it.
Yeah. Terrible, but it would be cool. It would be cool. Um, yeah, okay,
That's
that
kind of
was
it for
a lot.
audio
I think
for
so,
me.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. But even still, like it needs work, honestly. Like we need to know maybe I wonder if I should put out a poll or something. I'm just kind of intrigued as to what like people think in general. Like, do
Hmm.
people like silent audio? Do they not like silent audio? Like do they actually less that. You need to pose the question in like a very specific way. Because it's like, do you use silent audio in the game? Like obviously everyone's gonna say yes. So it's like, do you like silent audio? Like a lot of people might still say yes to that question. Like, do you think that silent audio is good for the game in general? People then start to think like, okay, well, from a game design perspective, is this actually good? Like, even though I like abusing it because it gets me kills, like, could it be in the game? You know?
I think, yeah, I feel like the problem is it's going to be more skewed towards people liking it because it is kind of one of those things where, you know what I mean? It's like you don't get to see the person using it against you. You're the only one that gets to use it. You know what I mean? Like I actually had a scav raid on Lighthouse where I used to silent walk on the guy because he came in again from the outside coming in. And so I know I'm on the inside. I can
Mm-hmm.
slow walk on anything. And I got in a position. I made just a little bit of noise. I went to peek him and shot him in the head with my taws and got a free kit. So I don't know.
For the people in chat who think that it is good to be completely silent, is that because you like it, or do you think that's like balanced? This is more like what I'm thinking about, right? I don't know whether this is like it may be a nice thing, TM, but I don't know whether it's like balanced. Do we think it's like a balanced game mechanic? Because I'm like I lean towards it being like not balanced. And that's the thing. Like, you could nerf it to start with by making it like 2 meters, for example.
Yeah.
Like, and that would be almost the same as it is now, but you can't like
Hmm.
literally creep up and tap someone on the shoulder.
Right.
So I don't. I feel like there's a middle ground. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a middle ground for it. Because right now it does seem it does seem a bit broken to be like complete silence at all ranges. Because it's like points being made about, in the move you die meta,
Yeah.
slow walk that you can't hear allows you to move and relocate, which I think is okay. And as I said, I'm doing that myself. But if somebody's like, if you're within like 5 meters of your opponent, like, should you be able to relocate for free? I'm not
I
sure.
I think that's the problem is you're giving like it's for free. Like the
Yeah,
only
there's
cost
zero
you're
downside
really
other than like being slow.
yeah, that's but like the exchange for being slow, you get to make zero audio noise. How crazy is that, dude? Like I don't know. It's just like to me that's just crazy because how many times I would say like what probably 90% of your engagements you hear someone like you hear something right and now it's like
Hmm.
you have to like react off that you know maybe I don't know like would you even count getting one tap an engagement I feel like not but you know what I mean though it's like how
Yeah.
the fights typically go is like you hear each other and then it's like okay now we got to do this dance how are we gonna do this I think like I said I think people are probably gonna like it on average because I think it is like just really strong. But I would just be curious to, from BSG's perspective if they a are aware of it and b what's the bug because I feel like it's got to be a bug. Like the snow stuff doesn't make any sense, and the other part that doesn't make any sense is that the weight doesn't scale with it because it used to scale with weight, and that was one of the interesting parts too about it. Is sometimes I would like draw like just throw loot out my backpack
Yeah.
just to make myself lighter so I could be quieter. And it was nice if you had like you were stacking backpacks, you could drop the backpack inside the backpack and not make the backpack noise.
Hmm.
I don't know. I think yeah.
I think it's tricky. It's tricky. There's like lots of different opinions in chat, which I find it's really interesting. It's really interesting. It genuinely is. Like some people saying, it incentivizes slow tactical play. Okay, but the game is way too campy, so you should never be completely silent. But the thing is, you could argue in some ways it makes the game like more. You can make an. I actually don't know which way this goes, but you can like legitimately make an argument that the game gets more campy if you take it away, because it means people can like not move at all. Like you're not allowed to move now at all. Otherwise, you make some sound. As audible. But I think it depends on the range. I think that's more of like a range question. Because like if you know someone's like more than 5 meters away, then you can make a sound without, or you can move without making sound. The best balance that I saw in the suggestions just there was that keep the silent audio, but you lose like you lose stamina basically for being crouched. I don't know whether it would be like stamina whilst crouched and moving.
And you already do that though,
I'd need
don't
to
you?
think about that. Or you not at any like not at a rate that really deters anybody. I would say. Like if you're just crouched, like you probably should lose stamina. I'm not really sure. There's like a few different ways to do it, which is the issue. Yeah, it's the free information that I don't really like. And there is basically no downside. And everybody uses it in
Yeah.
every fight, right? Like I use it all the time as well.
That's the balance issue for me is like, you know, someone's not to pick on this, but someone said, it's balanced because everyone can use it. It's like that's not really what we're saying. We're saying what you're trading for. The trade-off is just like insanely skewed in one direction. And I think that's kind of the problem.
Yeah, because I think the issue with like, oh, if something's balanced because everyone can use it, right? Like if flashlights were like
Hmm.
10 times more powerful than they are now, I think they're borderline anyway. But like if flashlights were 10 times more powerful,
Hmm.
then like it's not balanced because the only counter is the thing itself. Like I don't think that's balanced, even though it's everybody can use it. That's fine, but like it isn't balanced because it's the only thing you can really use. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
sort of where it comes down to, I think. So these things, like, yeah, they can be accessible to everybody, but like still be a problem or like be bad for the game or be unhealthy for the game, which I think was said actually. But like, you know, yeah, it's still maybe a problem for the game, or could be. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It is tough because the thing is, like, you know, I play the game more tactically anyway. Like, I'm not a shift W
Mhm.
Chad by any means. I probably play the game in the middle ground somehow, but I just feel like if you are moving, I don't feel like you should just have to like play into zero audio at any distance. You should be able to hear
Yeah.
somebody if they're like right next to you. You know, if somebody's like on, I mean, you could bring. I don't want to talk about IRL arguments because, like, frankly, I don't care. But like, if somebody's like behind the counter on wood or whatever, and you like come in to chalet or whatever, like,
Mhm.
should they be able to just move around free and like wait until you're like, you know, if you're completely stationary, like, okay. If you're outside of
Right.
5 meters, like, okay. But like, if they're like the other side of the countertop and you like are stepping around, moving, like, I think you should be heard doing that. Honestly, I just do. I think there's like, I don't think it's much different to this current system, actually, because you just need to have a little bit of range in mind. It
That's what
just
I
isn't.
think is
Yeah.
probably because like it's already kind of like for example, you know, we talked about the ADS thing, you know, so that's like a cost if you want to ADS, which this swipe is a lot more important. ADSing hip fire is
Mm,
really bad.
yeah.
Um, so you got to pay the cost of the audio you're making. If you pivot the wrong way, you got to pay that cost. Um, However, as long as you do all the things right, you can just completely silent walk the entire indoors of a building.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like 5 meters, you know, is a very like yeah, like it's a good starting point because it feels
Yeah.
like prior it was more like what 20 meters. And the other weird part too is scavs don't silent walk, but they do. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know if they're actually walking on the slowest speed, but have you ever seen the scav like just crouch
Yeah.
walk around the corner? He's
Uh
like
huh.
you can just hear him. You're just sitting there waiting, and it's always a scav. It's never a player or nothing. Right? That's another weird thing I noticed. But
Yeah. It's weird. But I'm gonna have to think about it a bit more.
see,
I'm
that's another
intrigued.
good point. Someone said 5 meters and the sound doesn't go through the walls. That is another thing that I would like too, because yeah, if you do set it to like 5 meters, let's say 10 meters, you know, that's if in real life that sounds pretty reasonable. You know, if I someone's outside of my door, like it's going to be muffled and whatnot. Whereas in Tarkov, it's just going to be like, is it going to be muffled? Probably not. Like if they're above the floor, then yeah. So
Yeah.
that
Or at
would
least
that
like,
would be another nice
yeah,
thing.
they're like changing the sound
But
profile or whatever, but they're not like, it's not like quiet enough in comparison. Yeah, it's like, you know, if I'm inside and I walk on my like laminate wooden hallway
mhm,
and you're
mhm.
outside my front door, like, you're not going to hear me.
Right,
Like, it's
right.
not occlusion. Like, you're just simply not going to hear me.
Mhm, mhm.
And like the same thing, if I'm walking upstairs on my wooden floor in the bedroom and you're outside, again, you're just not going to hear me. Like, there's
Yeah,
nothing to do
yeah,
with occlusion. It's just like, I mean, yeah, the occlusion is 100%. Like, there's just, you're just not going to hear me. Like, it's just,
yeah.
it's too much, right? It's
I think that
too
would
much.
be. I think if they did that, then yeah, that would do a lot. You could probably make crouch walking on slow speed like 20 meters. Well, that might be too extreme, but you know what I mean. Like it would be so much more
Yeah.
balanced, and yeah, because it's
Yeah.
tough. Because like you know, a lot of games that I feel like that's a big X. So, but that would be really nice.
It's
But a
hard though,
lot of
because
games
of
I
like,
don't think have that type of stuff.
no, but like even Tarkov is just like, oh, okay, well then what if they're like, I'm like in my situation, you know, where they're like walking outside on wooden floorboards and I'm also inside, but I'm round the corner through the wall, but the door's open. It's like, well, this is what Tarkov's audio system was supposed to deal with.
Hmm,
But like,
hmm.
obviously, it's like clearly not going to do that.
Just give them 5 more years.
Yeah. They're like, maybe there
No,
just needs to be more
it's a tough
differentiation
test.
between the materials, even. Like if I'm like
Yeah.
sneak walking on like a carpet, you're
Hmm.
not going to hear me at all. Whereas it's quite hard
Could do
to
that.
like sneak walk like through a forest, for example. It's like
Like
quite hard to
broken
just be quiet.
glass.
Or like, yeah, broken glass. Like, I mean, that's actually true now already. You can't couch walk on broken glass.
Oh,
One
you
of the
can't?
no, it's the only material. One of the tests that I
I
didn't
wasn't aware
do,
of that.
and I wasn't
Okay.
aware of it until people told me in the comments on that video.
Good to know.
So broken glass and snow can't couch walk on either of those without being heard. So broken glass apparently does do that already.
Interesting.
which is really
See that?
weird.
I
But
feel like that
metal
leads.
is fine, and wood is fine.
I feel like that lends more credence to Tig's claim because I think glass is one of the surfaces that's not common. You know, that's an uncommon surface. But again, the math doesn't really check out with these percentages. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just weird. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then there's the whole point that we're wearing like an active headset as well, with like EQ and stuff. Like I'm walking around my
hmm
house, I don't have a headset on, so I don't know. I've never worn a military active like noise like profile adjusting headset, so I don't know.
I feel like there's a middle ground. Is kind of my final thing to say because I do think it's kind of not great that you feel like you can't move at all, like you can't do anything, you're gonna be heard, and the Giga Chat is gonna rush you and shoot you.
Yeah.
Which I think is like kind of a trap a lot of people fell in, me included. So I think you need something where you can make noise, but it's like very quiet, very slow, um, just to like reposition a little bit, like you're playing with fire essentially. It's like, oh, I hear
Mm.
this guy, I'm in the middle of the hallway. Can I crouch walk and get behind the door just in time to like, get ambushed this guy? He's like, I feel like you need something there where you have to be like, maybe I do that, or maybe I just, you know, set up for him and make him known, my presence known to him.
Yeah. Like the more we talk about it, the more I'm thinking like you literally just add like like a 2 or 3 meter radius for silent walking or whatever. Like see how
hmm
that goes because just stops the most egregious of these like issues, but it still kind of
hmm
keeps it broadly the same.
Yeah, and you could even have it like what would be the quietest surface material that's already in the game? Probably like
Probably
concrete.
maybe concrete, maybe grass. I was thinking.
Yeah, one of those two. Yeah, and then you could have like glass being the highest, like maybe that's like 5 or 6 meters or whatever. Maybe 10. I don't know. Because then you got wood and metal. Metal's kind of quiet.
Yeah, the metal's weird because metal is like super loud if you're running, obviously, but
Yeah,
like metal could be really quiet if you're being quiet.
because it's more tinny.
Yeah, and it's like it like reverberates, right?
hmm
Whereas like if you stand on it and you're like moving slowly, you can probably stand on it like well again, we're talking IRL, so like who cares? But anyway. Anyway, that's it.
Interesting stuff.
We've solved it all, Church.
hmm
Not even remotely. But okay. Shall we talk about the very first part of the patch notes list? Fixed incorrect ammo penetration and damage calculations in some situations. This is going to be a lecture on 10. Actually, less so. Less so that, but
Is there a pop quiz teacher afterwards?
yeah, make sure you're taking notes, paying attention. So I went and did a load of testing separate to the whole like APM thing about this line because yeah, fixed incorrect ammo penetration and damage calculations in some situations is like really nebulous, doesn't really tell us anything. We know that like plates have got problems and the system is a bit weird and there's something going on with either fragmentation if you're part of team Airwing Marine or multiple hitbox interaction if you're team GigaBeef. Like neither of us have any way to back up our claims. But I think it's multi-hitbox and he thinks it's fragmentation. It could end up being both. Who honestly knows at this point? But there is weird stuff happening in general.
People are saying faction wars.
Faction wars. I actually quite like the fact that we both have a different opinion
Yeah.
on the matter. I think it's quite good. I think it's healthy. Where is my? Hold on. I've like not got. Oh no. Oh no. I do have it here actually. So I went and did like loads of tests, a ton of tests, and I would say for the most part, things seem. Things seem like better. Is the way that I would start out. So
Okay.
the one that I was like mostly interested in. So let's just remind everybody of how stupid certain things were. And I'm still suspicious. Right? I'm still very suspicious about this armor. But the propane barter armor, the 6B23-1, with its weird plate, the 6B12 front plate. That's the one with the diamondy shaped thing and the square underneath. This is like the entry level armor that was causing so many problems before. There's clips from going right back to the beginning. It tanking 4 or 5 T45M shots from 7.62, and it really shouldn't. Terratech shooting 2 separate people with Lapua Magnum AP, going bang, 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 and each armor tanked 2 shots, and then finally they died. All of this weird stuff was going on before, and then, like, anytime I saw something stupid, it was with this armor, right? So when I tested it, we shot it at 10 times. We did like 5 different tests because it zeroes out pretty quick, right? And out of the 10 shots, it was like 3 were completely absorbed. 4 of them, I believe, did like, or maybe it was like, I can't remember exactly how it went, but it was. I could probably go. I can go and find it. Let me go and find the test and see where was it. Where are you, you blasted thing? I've just got like reams and reams and reams of testing data. Kind of the issue at this point. Oh gosh. I'm just going to search for 6B12. Where's the next one? Oh, maybe I have lost it. I don't know. Anyway, so out of the 10 shots, it was roughly something along the lines of like 4 shots being blocked, 3 shots it did 15 damage, and there were 4 shots that did like full damage with some damage, with like basically no damage mitigation, which was crazy. So this thing should never stop a BP, really. I think like in the old system.
Was that 7.62 or 5.45?
That was 7.62 BP.
Okay, yeah. It really shouldn't.
Not that it really matters, because 7.62 BP is 47 pen, but the new 5.45 BP is 45 pen. So it's actually both like kind of the same. But yeah, like in the old system, it would have had a 97.6% chance to pen, right? So we're pretty sure that shouldn't happen. Anyway, so I redid a bunch of the tests, and it, for the most part, like made sense. So we tried that one with BCP FMJ, which is 35 pen. So like it should go through most of the time. It blocked the first shot. All the other shots penned. There was a weird shot when it was on like half durability, where it dealt 7 damage to the player, which is basically like it penned but got caught by the soft armor, which, like, is possible, right? Like the penetration gets reduced through the class 3 armor, and then the class 2 does a miracle save and catches it, but then you take blunt damage from that. But that's plausible. Tried it a second time, full damage on shot number 1. The second shot got absorbed. Every other shot got got passed through, except for the very, very final one, where it went from 2 durability to 0 durability, and we took specifically 28 damage, which I really don't understand. That was very strange.
Really weird.
Yeah, so that was like
the BP still.
That was with BCP. That was with BCP. So this is BCP FMJ now. This is 7.62 NATO.
What's
this is the one on. This is 35.
Oh,
this is the one under M80.
That's right. That's weird, because this should go straight through, right?
It should do. So again, in the old system,
it's just a class 3 play.
Yep. In the old system, this would have had a 95.5% chance to pen. So there was still some weirdness. Now, we then shot it a bunch with M80. 4 shots of M80 went straight through. We did a second test. 4 shots of M80 went straight through. Okay, so it seemed relatively good. We shot it with 7.62 by 54R BT, big boy bullets. Straight through on number 1, straight through on number 2. So I was like, okay, this definitely seems better. Like, there's still some weird results coming through on this armor. There's something about this armor that is like messed up, right? But like,
is it the armor though?
I think it's something to do with the plate. I think that every time something weird happens, everyone's like, oh look, the armor system's so busted. I'm just like, they're wearing the 6B12 plate again. Like I felt like I was slowly going mad, because I never really see, like, has anybody ever seen any weird clips about the class 4 monoclete plate, for example? Like, I am yet to see any. I am yet to do any testing where the monoclete plate doesn't work as normal. For example, the 6B12 plate is cursed. It is cursed, and it is specifically cursed. I don't know what is wrong with it, but it's cursed. Anyway, we tested like a load of other stuff. We tested the Corund class 5 with M80. Blocked. Got to half durability. Straight through. That's pretty much what you would expect. This is the class 5 plate. So the class 5 plate gets to 50% durability. That makes it basically a class 4, which is around 40 pen. The M80 goes straight through after that. We did it against the VMK, which is the Corund class 6 plate. Blocked, all the way down to 16 out of 60 durability, so 25%, where again, it should be a class 4, and the final shot went through. So okay, kind of makes sense. And there was more of this in general. I did I did the 6B12 again with 545 BP, and that blocked the very first shot. Mm-hmm. Great. 2 shots went through at full damage. The 4th shot did 2 damage. So
2
damage to the
HP
soft
damage,
armor.
right?
2 HP damage. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing was this is a class 3 plate at 11 out of 50. It penned the plate. Something happened to the soft armor, and it did 2 damage, which is strange, right? And then the last 2, it went straight through. I did it again. First shot straight through. Second shot straight through. Third and 4th shots 2 damage each. Shots 5 and 6 45 damage. But basically straight through. So
I mean, it's inconsistent as heck.
yeah, so
except when it's consistent.
So the 6B12 plate is just super weird. Then we did like Hex Attack because it has no soft armor with the monoclete plate against BP. It absorbed it, and then oh wait, no, hold on. No, so okay, so sorry, it's because I didn't write down the middle bit. So hey, so 545 BP again, this is 45 pence. So this should go straight through class 4. The monoclete plate is a polymer class 4 sappy plate, Western plate. And it went through every single time. That was on through 7 tests, from full durability all the way down to 0. It just did 45 damage every time. Then we did it with the front owner, because that was with monocletes in both front and back. I mean, who knows whether it's going to make a difference. Then we did it with just the front. Again, BP went through every single time. We did 545 BP against the polymer class 5 armor, which is the GAC 3S15. That was at 45 durability to start with. That got blocked to 39, blocked to 32, blocked to 26, which lo and behold is about 50%, and then it went through every single time after that. So like the polymer class plates, polymer class 4 and 5 plates seem to work just as normal. The monoclete gets penned every time by 545 BP. The class 5 gets to half durability and then gets penned every time after that. We did a second test with the GAC class 5 plate against BP. First one went through, which was slightly weird. It hit the stomach because we weren't being very careful, but it did 53 damage, right? This round is rated for 45 damage. So that was one weird thing that we saw. Then it blocked it, and then it penned every single time after that. So like, for most of it, it was okay. What was weird is that we then used 545 PP against the 6B12 plate, this like problem plate again, and that just did 45 damage every single time. Sorry, 49 damage every time, which is just what PP should do. So there was no weirdness at all with PP against the 6B12 plate, which is really odd. The monoclete class 4 plate against PP didn't block it, did block it, didn't block it, did block it, and then didn't block it for the rest of all of the shots. Against the class 5 plate, it got blocked. This is this must have been PP. I must have written this down wrong. Yeah, this must be PP. I'll go back and check the VOD. But they got blocked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and then it penned every time after that. Once the class 5 plate got down too low. 6B12 again got penned every single time by 762 PS. We did that twice. That was 6 shots each. I've got so much testing data. This is the thing. Like I've got tons of testing data, and the long and the short of it is that most of it looks very normal. There's still some weirdness here and there. So the weird points being, yeah, we shot into the stomach area through the plate on the class 5 plate with BP, and it did more than the listed damage of the bullet by a little bit. It did, instead of doing 45, it did 53, which is strange. And then basically only the 6B12 front plate seems to be showing weird stuff. There was like one final test I was just like scrolling through. There was like, so PS looked to be completely normal. Yeah, that just penned it every single time. We did which other one did we do? We did one which was like, there was one that was really weird, right? So 6B12 plate, the accursed plate against 762 BP, which is the original test that I did. Straight pens 4 times in a row. Repeat with a fresh plate. First shot, pens. Goes from 50 durability to 33. Second shot pens goes from 33 durability to 16. Third shot goes from 16 to 2 durability, no damage. I mean,
the no damage stuff, I have no idea about that.
Maybe we rolled a miracle roll on that one, but like The 6B12 is still just absorbing random bullets
Hmm.
sometimes for no apparent reason, like outside of the way the mathematics should work, or at least like the way we knew it worked before. Like there's something different about it for certain.
But it's
Um,
only the 6B12 now, you're saying?
yeah, it
That's
seemed to be the
given the
same
magical
before. Well,
properties.
maybe. Like monoclete plate got penned every single time by BP. The class 5 plate also did a miracle save at 9 out of 45 durability.
But that's within reason, though.
Is it though?
Class
Like
5 plate.
9 out of 45 though on Dura? It was shot number 4.
Oh.
Shot number 4 did no damage when it had. Oh, no, sorry. It
Oh,
started with
9 out of
18, actually. It started with 18. I mean,
45.
I guess it's possible. 18 out of 45 on class 5 in the old system. What would that have done? Let's see.
I don't know, Giga.
I mean, it's very, very unlikely. But it never goes to 100%. So
Yeah, I guess
I
it's
said it
true.
was this times, what, 16 over 45? I think it was actually in reality. Yeah, so it's a 96% pen chance in the old system. Like, it's possible.
Sure.
It's
Okay.
certainly possible. Like the test after it blocked one at full HP, full durability, which is like 50-50, so that's kind of
Hmm.
okay. Um, so like I don't know. No, it's it. There are still some weirdnesses, and especially with the 6v12 play, it's not as weird as it was, but it's still strange. But it's better than it was. Like it does just seem to like tank random rounds sometimes. But there's weird stuff. We didn't see anybody dying in one hit though, or anything during any of these tests, which is good.
But I saw the VOD where you used 366 APM
Aha.
and you were one tapping armor
So
class 4 plates, which should not be possible.
exactly. So that was yesterday. So we went and did another test. So this was the one I did on, because basically this is a one tap test, the APM one. So I
Hmm.
was like, I don't really want to do this offline. We'll do it on stream. We'll get as many people together as possible. I didn't know we managed to make it work live. I didn't know how to get everybody into the lobby, but it turns out if you go and pick a map in co-op offline, and you basically get yourself to like the ready screen. Don't make a party, and then go in the lobby and create a group. Then other people just have to sit in the lobby and go looking for group, and then you can invite them. And if you're not in a party, you can invite basically up to the map limit of PMCs, which I knew was possible, but I'd never actually done it.
Hmm.
The idea is just you don't. What is that?
It's the bullet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the idea is that it was like, and I was like, it's. I'm looking at it on like the tiny like
Yeah.
OBS window, so I was like, huh. I was like, what item is that? I was like, it looks like a golden star, but like brown. Um, anyway, so we ended up with like 14 people on interchange, which was cool, and that was perfect for this test because we just needed people to just get one tapped. And we went in with class 4 plates, all sorts. People just bought all sorts of junk. I didn't really like do it too precisely, and we just went from one person to the next. Every single class 4 plate that I shot at point blank was an instant kill. So let that sink in for a second. APM,
I
90 damage, 42 pen, instant one tap through all the class 4 plates in the game.
I know not of this game you speak of, Escape from Tarkov.
Exactly. We tested most of them. We did like the titanium, like Kibber arm steel. We tried monoclete. We tried all of them, except the Ulay.
Hmm.
And why is that? Well, it's because the Ulay is the old system. So the Ulay just worked exactly like it used to. If you're wearing the Ulay, you get shot by. I mean, I literally corroborated the calculations with my old model, right? Which
Hmm.
is like it's one like we knew exactly how it worked. 90
Yeah.
damage, 42 pen on APM. The old Ulay is class 4. You shoot at it, it deals 20% pen reduction, which leaves you with 72 damage. So the PMC, it's got a 93% chance to pen because the pen's so high, but the damage reduction is still 20%. And because it's got 90
Right.
damage, it doesn't one-shot you. You end up on 13 HP, and you survive. And that's the way it used to be, and it's still true, which is kind of interesting. So if you want to not die against APM, the Yulei's the way to go. And the guy, like, I think he healed himself twice. I think I think it was shot 3 that killed him.
Yeah,
Because
you're right.
it
I remember.
does 13.5 armor damage. So you end up, so it starts at 44, Then you get to 30.5, so it does 76.3 damage. Right? And then you up this to 27, so that leaves you with 17 durability out of 44. And lo and behold, what does my spreadsheet say? 85.8 damage. And lo and behold, he died. So, like, the old system, we knew what was going on, like, for sure. Like, definitely. And the Yule is the only armor now with class 4, other than the Rat Rig. There's like two. There's the Rat Rig and there's the Yule. They're the only two armors left in the game that have class 4 and use the old system.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't
Other
you
than
able to
helmets.
one?
On chest armor, at least.
Weren't you able to one tap a class 5 armor, or am I misremembering?
I was indeed. The very first thing that we did was I shot at. I was like, well, we'll just take the chunkiest armor that we have here. We'll start with the Reduce M with a granite BR4 plate, class 5. Fired at the guy square in the chest. Instantly dead.
And to be clear, the plate took damage.
Correct. And the soft armor.
And the soft armor.
Yep. And the player died.
So what if, hypothetically speaking, what if it's doing double blunt damage? What if the plate's registering blunt damage and the soft armor's registering blunt damage?
I don't think that would be enough to. Well,
not mitigating as it should properly. It's only mitigating 20% for the plate, and then that still goes through to the soft armor. Like, it doesn't stack up, if you don't.
Yeah, I don't. It's something like that. I think the damage mitigation is broken. Through plates.
Yeah. But that doesn't really explain plates blocking. But I guess that one's mostly relegated to that 6B13 plate. Yeah.
Yeah, the 6B13 plate is a lore unto itself. I just don't really understand that. There was and there was I think there was one. There's like a couple of miracle saves here and there, but like, probabilistically, you're going to run into some of them. But
so do you still take no damage from bullets to the plates? Is that
you take
still
no
a
damage
thing?
if it blocks? If it blocks, you take no damage at all.
That's still a thing. Absolutely.
That's still true.
Huh.
Yeah. So in the old, and the thing is, what's funny is in the old system, APM actually will pen a class 5 on like an 18%. So it's like 1 in 5. Yeah. So it's not inconceivable for it to go through at least. But when it does, it should only deal like 60 damage to you. Should be even less than class 4 does. But for some reason, when it gets through, and like I don't really know, like it was weird because we've had like numerous different results here. So we had the first one, which was the Reduce M, where they just died. We had the second one, which was against a Gen 4 with a class 5 plate. And the guy was on 8, he took 84 damage, and then the thorax ticked to 0 from a bleed immediately. So he was still alive, but he couldn't fix it. We had that against the Karund as well. But the Karund backplate took one APM, completely absorbed it, and then the guy died on the second one. When I tested,
is the backplate APM, class 6?
No, it's class 5.
Okay.
When I tested APM myself against the GAC 3S15M plate, which is the polymer one, class 5, that absorbed 3 shots and finally killed me on the last one. So sometimes it works. I think maybe we kind of got lucky with the pen chance. But so like the follow on from that, and I'm putting this in a more concentrated video, which is coming out like probably tomorrow. But the follow on from that was that I went in and did like a quick offline with somebody else, Binman actually, and all I wanted to know was like what was the damage actually, because like if you just walk around one tapping people with like every bullet, it doesn't really tell you that much about like what you did. And so I was like, oh, actually, you know what? We can shoot through the same plate, but we can just shoot the stomach instead, because that won't kill me, and I can see how much damage we're actually dealing here.
Right.
And I tried it with a class 4 plate and did no backer, class 2 soft, and class 3 soft. And in the first case, it literally did like 90 damage. Like there's no mitigation at all through the plate for some reason with APM.
The Karund plate in the stomach?
No, this one was, well, it seems to be happening with those too, but I tried it with the monoclete plate. Okay. The class 4 monoclete one, the sappy one. And it just dealt 90 straight to my stomach. So it did 90 with monoclete with no backer. Yes. Then it did 90 through the plate with the class 2 backing. once you've like accounted for the stomach thing. Because it ends up doing like 93, but like the stomach was at 20, so you do 20 to the stomach, then the spillover, and it's 105%. So you scale that back down, and then it adds up to 90 again. And then with the class 3 backing, interestingly, this was a different plate. So stupidly, I should have used the monoclete plate as well. I didn't. I used a different one for. I thought it was monoclete, but I just made a mistake. But I don't think it matters that much. That one ended up doing exactly 85. So it would have killed you anyway, but it was a little bit less. So maybe the class 3 is actually doing something, like minimizing the
Class
damage
3
a little bit.
armor or the
The class 3
name is.
underlay. This is like a class 4 plate. So
Oh,
the three tests I did, maybe I was being a bit confusing. I'm going quite fast. The 3 tests that I did was class 4 plate with nothing, class 4 plate with a class 2 rig, and class 4 plate in a class 3 rig.
Okay, gotcha.
So like HPC, MMAC,
but one of the plates was different.
and Thor. Yeah, and in the Thor, I had one of the combined materials plates, I think, but it was still full durability. It's still class 4. So on the last one, like, yeah, you die anyway, but like the damage is 85. So there is like some mitigation, I suppose. But it seems like through the other two with level 2 or and that sort of explains it as well, because we saw like thoraxes being zeroed on both the Corund and on the Gen 4. I don't know why the Reduce M died immediately. Like maybe I was like that tiny little bit closer. I'm not really sure. Because I was like right up to the guy for the Reduce M, but I was like a little bit further away for the Gen 4. And again for the Corund. Like maybe that tipped it over. Because we're literally talking like when I read the damage off, it's like 85. I can't get any more precise than that. I don't know what decimal point it was. So we're right on the threshold between it killing or not with a class 3 back. So I feel like maybe outside of like literal point blank, I think it might not kill you through class 5. But even still, the mitigation should be a lot more than that. Like it shouldn't be doing nearly full damage. It's kind of mental. It almost sounds like the plate's doing nothing except decreasing the pen. And it comes through at 90. And then the pen goes down a bit from 42 to, I mean, I don't know what, do a thought experiment here. Like, what would that need? If you've got like the press, got like the old press armor, for example, how much mitigation would you need to get to exactly 85? Well, you know, the thing is, oh no, sorry, yeah, how low pen does it need to get? Actually, that's a good point. So at 42 pen, there's no damage reduction. At 40 pen, there's like 5%. So if you got to, there you go. So somewhere between 40 pen, which would leave you with 85.4 damage, so it would still kill you, versus 39 pen, which is 83 damage, which wouldn't kill you. So the class 3 armor, all that's got to be doing is being like handed a bullet with 39 pen rather than 42 pen from the class 5.
Which makes no difference.
Right, yeah, so the APM comes in, hits the plate. There's no damage mitigation because of some bug. It takes the pen from 42 to 39. That gets passed through to class 3. It obviously instantly pens, but because the damage reduction is 5%, it then doesn't kill you because it goes to 84 damage rather than above 85. That sounds to be me what's happening.
So but see, that raises an interesting question, because how do you explain of course I can't see it. How do you explain the redut?
I think I was it must be distance related.
But see, I'm assuming, did he have a class 5 plate in it?
Yeah, class 5 ceramic plate, yeah.
Which means it should have not pinned. Period.
It should have. It's got a 20% chance to pen.
So you're thinking you just got that unlucky?
Maybe, or the pen chances are different against plates. I don't know the answer.
Yeah, that would be something. One thing I was going to suggest is, which I don't know if this would really help, but what material is the 6B, the Ulay?
The Ulay ceramic. It's called like aramid and ceramic. Like it's got some weird.
Is it ceramic?
It's if you mouse over the inbuilt areas, it says aramid inserts with ceramic, like whatever
plate. I don't know,
something like that.
Well, what I was going to suggest, if it is indeed ceramic, if you could get a plate, like a ceramic plate that's 45 durability, and just throw it in the rig that doesn't have any soft armor, and just compare the two, like the Ulay, because it's ceramic, the material is the same, use the same ammo, same material. You just have a Ulay, and then you have like a slick or a hex with a class 4 ceramic. I'm assuming there's a class 4 ceramic with 45 durability, possibly. That might help lead somewhere. It might not. It might just make it even more probably the latter.
Yeah, I need to check. I'm not sure if the armor damages are making sense. I don't actually know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, now I feel like I need to start wearing ULAs because I don't understand how you just tap one tap. Yeah, I just don't understand how that happens. You're just one tapping class 4 plates through and through.
Mhm.
That's just like that's
I
not
just
Tarkov. What
I
is
just
this game and who is
yeah.
doing this?
I just don't think they're giving any damage reduction.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would make sense,
It's the only reasonable
uh,
answer based on the testing I've done.
but sometimes they take no damage if they don't pin.
But
So if it doesn't
that's if it
pin,
gets blocked. If it gets blocked, it literally does 0 to you. All plates do
okay.
that. There's never a situation in which a plate tanks a bullet
So it's
and that you take damage.
we're
That I've
basically
seen
saying it's completely binary. If it pins, you get the full
full
thrust
whack.
blunt of the damage. If it doesn't pin, you're a god.
Yeah,
That's the analysis so
basically
far.
that's how
Hmm.
it seems. Yeah.
Maybe it's time to start not wearing class 4 plates then. Maybe it's time to start upgrading class 5.
It's time for the
Because I thought
Yulei, baby.
previously it just felt so
The
hit
era
or
of the
miss.
Yulei, I'm
Like
telling
I
you.
just assumed it was yeah, man, I just really do not like the weight penalties and the rig configuration. It's
Thing is,
so
right, if you're
like
wearing class 5, this is
mhm,
the thing, like you just doesn't seem like you're able to wear class 4 for damage reduction anymore. Like you used to do
yeah,
that against things like uh 556, M856A1. Like it gives you like 50% protection, but even if you do get penned twice, the damage reduction means that it won't kill you. Well, now you still wear it for the 50% like chance to block, in which case you'll take no damage. But if it does pen, you'll probably die in 2 hits. That seems to be the way.
sorry, I'm just saying how soon can I get class 5 plates that isn't the Quran.
There's some questions about like, does this mean that the Yulei is combined materials? Because it says like aramid plus. But the thing is, combined
Mm,
materials is its
I think
own material type.
right.
Whereas the
I,
Yulei is like, they've shoehorned the Yulei into the new system, but
right.
keeping the old system. So even though it's aramid and ceramic
Ceramic.
combined, that does not make it combined materials, unfortunately. It is still ceramic as far as the system works, because the system works like the old system, and the amount of armor damage that's dealt to it is consistent with ceramic. Even now, actually. Like the old model still works for the Yulei. The Yulei is like one of the few armors that makes sense. Because like it's the same system. And it is still
Right.
ceramic. That's I can guarantee that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just the whole thing kind of makes me sick to my stomach.
But I'm gonna put my thing together, and then like maybe BSG can like look at it or whatever. So because they are like changing stuff.
Mhm,
I don't really know what they changed. I mean, the 6B12 is a bit better. They did something. I don't know what they did, but they did something.
mhm.
It's not like the tank central anymore. It's now like you get these unusual readings every now and then where it's like, oh, that's freaky. As opposed to like, oh my god, this thing blocked 7 out of 10 bullets from BP. Or like 5 Lapua Magnums in a row. you know? Like we're not at that stage anymore. We're now at like it's
Are we
just kind of
sure
weird
though?
sometimes. I'm pretty sure.
Has anyone tested it though
Not with Lapua
recently?
Magnum, but I'm pretty sure it'll go through. Like I was using 762 by 54R, right, BT, and it was just like pen, M80, pen, M80, pen. So like that was okay.
I think we need to do a Lapua test, Giga.
I don't have the ability to even do that. I don't have any of the
Surely
guns and I don't have any of the
someone.
ammo. I'm sure somebody has it, but like it's just gonna kill you straight up. Like I don't know. I don't think
Is it
there's
though?
yeah. Based on like I'm extrapolating from the testing that I've done already. I'm like pretty sure, but yeah. It's how about somebody go and test it that isn't me because I'm fed up of doing it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Get Terratex to do it again or something. So somebody who like
Yeah.
actually has it already. It doesn't require me to organize it. Because it take like it's literally going to take like it's just a it's a 30-second clip of
Hmm.
here's the 6B12 and here's the man. Oh, he's dead.
Hmm. If it works
And
as
we did that
intended.
5 times because we brought 5 people in and they all bought propane armor and bam,
Hmm.
bang, 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 and they all died. Which I would say I'm like 80% confident that's what's going to happen.
Hmm. I have no clue. I yeah. I everything's really foreign, and I don't like it, and I
yeah. I expect stuff to continue to change because things are still weird. You know, like the head hitbox thing is still weird. You can one shot people from like
Oh,
ranges you would never be able to previously, for example.
that's the other thing I was going to ask you. I've been using a lot of EKO rounds on
Mm,
the VPO 215. Is that right? The bolty one.
yeah.
For like Shooterborn, and I've pretty much consistently getting headshot. I don't think I've ever gotten a deflection. Like, is it
Who,
just
what,
blunt
class 4
damage?
or
Class 3.
class 3? Well, it should, well, it depends what distance, but I mean, it
Let's
should
say
pen a
100
class 3 close at least.
meters. 50 meters. It'll be more generous.
Because it has 30 pen.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I
how
imagine
much
it's
is
probably
it
like
going to lose?
28, 20, 27 maybe at that distance. So,
Yeah, I guess so. So, like, it starts off with an 88% pen chance. Helmets are also the old system, by the way, because they're like inbuilt as well. I don't know what's happened to like face shields and like
I'm saying,
parts.
dude, there's something weird going on. I don't like it because I saw that too, and I'm just like, I really wish things were. I don't like this. Is like I don't like change, but I really don't like change right now because it's like,
It's unknown change. Because then you're just like, you're
yeah,
looking at your inventory and you're like, what am I going to wear? And you're like, well, how do I decide what to wear? And you're like, I
because
actually
like,
just don't know.
yeah, right.
I just want to wear a Ulay every raid. And I just think like that's just terrible. I have no way of
I
getting class
agree.
5, even still. Right? I'm level, I mean, yeah, the progression has been like reduced, right? But I'm level 34. I still have no way of getting class 5 armor. So I'm just like, I just want to use the Ulay. Just constantly. And why not? Like I haven't done recon
hmm
and I didn't complete, I haven't got seconds of Brallo. So I can't do living high. So I can't, you know, launder class 5 plates through my lavatory or any of that
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
waiting on Shudaville to finish Boo's quest so he can drop me as a brawler. So dude, I have like so many ramming quests ready for turn-ins. I
Yeah.
need a Zabralo.
I
But yeah,
haven't
shout
got
out to Shudaville for grinding for me.
I haven't
Thanks,
got
Daddy.
Peacekeeper 4. So I can't do the barter. It's yeah. It's annoying.
Yeah, I wish
Quite
they would
annoying.
just change the Zabralo to like one Zabralo. It's just
Yeah,
like,
either change to one Zabralo so you can hand the one in from Punisher, or like
yeah.
give a barter for like an empty Zabralo.
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
Like that's a short term way of just fixing the problem, right? Or just we'll just make it one Zabralo. Like it's just silly.
Yeah, just I don't know. Is it? I feel like the quests generally some of them just like don't feel right. Like they're like so mismatched. Like the Zabralo, for example, being where it is, you would think it'd be like a much later game quest.
Yeah.
There's also like the Peacekeeper, like the entire Peacekeeper quest line. All the level requirements are like sub 15 when you're like in your 30s doing them. Like I don't know. There's just some really weird stuff sometimes that I feel is weird.
Yeah,
But
apparently at 28 sorry, at 50 meters you have 28 pen according to Tarkov ballistics.
see, I don't know, dude. Maybe,
Which is
maybe
like
I'm
a
hitting their nade.
67%. But this is the thing that you have to remember, right? It's like sometimes you're hitting them in the face and jaws and eyes. Sometimes you're hitting
Sure.
them in the helmet with a somewhere between a 60 and an 80 to 90% pen chance against class 3. And sometimes you're hitting them in the neck.
Yeah. Which counts as head essentially.
Which counts
What
as
is
head.
what's the blunt damage on something like that? 66% chance to pin. Let's say it blocks
So
it.
well at that distance, well like, without it, it's like an 88% chance to pen. And the blunt damage is like 16.
Oh, so they would tank it. Okay.
It's actually
So
very
yeah, it must
similar,
be
yeah.
pinning. All
Yeah.
right.
Like
I was
at
kind of
that range
surprised.
it's like 15 blunt, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I haven't really ran into a lot of ULAs or
Yeah.
ULOCs rather. So
Yeah, I think they're
yeah,
quite
I guess that makes
expensive.
sense.
I just run the TC 2000 type helmet. I love those. They're like
I hate
40k.
not having ears, dude. I just can't. I don't
I
know if
don't
it
mind.
matters now that we, neck. Because like now it's
Yeah.
like I can't really do much about neck, so might as well just forego the ears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's a strange one. It was a strange one. So yeah, I'm putting something a bit more consolidated. The thing is, like, all of this like other testing, I haven't really got anywhere for it to go. Like, I didn't really want to just make a rambling video being like, "Hey, look, I tested all these random ammos and like here's some like weird data points." It's like, okay, cool
for
story, bro.
takeaways.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
like it doesn't tell you anything. It's like everything's acting as expected, I suppose. Like for the most part, except these weird things. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm definitely doing one about APM because I've been asked like a billion times about it. And at least like it came up with some like El Surpriso results, which is quite funny. So that one's a good one to make a video for. That's coming next. But yeah, the rest of it's still just like I'm just trying to figure out like what the hell's going on. Like some people are just look, I'm kind of like in the same boat as a lot of other people, I think, which is like I'll test when there's something like specifically weird happening, or if they make some changes. Which is why I was sort of reinvigorated by doing some testing because they made some changes. It's like, okay, is everything fixed? Not quite, but it's better. And from there, we'll kind of see where it goes. So when they put through some more ballistics tests, some more ballistics updates, then I'll test again the same kind of things. But it's honestly one of those weird things where it's like I was like genuinely on the fence about suggesting people run the 6B12 front plate up until they made the change, and
I
now I'm
know
like, it would have been goated before, like in all seriousness, because you could block like 80% of bullets, but that doesn't seem to happen anymore.
Yeah,
And
I hate it.
so now it's like 90% of the time when you wear it, you're just going to die as if you're wearing class 3. But occasionally it's going to Hail Mary you. Like it's not a compelling reason to wear the armor. It just means the armor's like kind of busted.
Yeah.
It's still like buggy, but it's not like actually broken like it was before. It's just a bit bugged sometimes.
Is it?
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
The other
Continuing
interesting
on.
part is like that specific plate is like kind of unique, you know?
Yeah.
Like the Quran, at least what you're seeing on the screen, the plates are a little bit more separated versus the green one. Like there's a little more of a gap. I don't know. I don't think this really matters, but it's just so weird.
Yeah. Oh, it one tap through a ult in face shield as well, by the way, APM.
Yeah, yeah, no, I saw that.
It's just like I think the weird thing for me is that we're seeing way more pens than you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the next thing, actually, to think about. Is like, what is actually the pen chance of APM? Because, as I said, it was 18% before. Like, it doesn't seem to be the case now. Like, my testing is like limited because I wanted to see what the pen chance is at 100%. So, maybe I get like, 14 people to come in again with, lots of different plates, with all class 5 plates, and we just shoot each one once and just collect loads of data. Probably the only way to do it. And we'll just get like a practical percentage. Like, we shot this armor or like these sets of armors. I mean, you almost want it to be just like one armor and limit the variables. This is where it just becomes so annoying. But say you bring in you bring in 50 GAC 3S 15M plates. You go, we shot all of them once. Like, how many times did it pen? Like, does that actually match? Is it 20% or not? Because like, it seems not to be, right? Like we shot, I've got the list here. So what was it? I shot the Reduce, it went through and killed him. We shot through the Gem 4 and it went through and nearly killed him. Then we did the ult in top, which blocked it, and then they died on the second shot. But the helmets act like the old system, so that's not really that. I don't think that's necessarily part of this test. The Karund back absorbed a bullet and then died on the second shot. And then a Karund class 5 got penned again down to 0 health. So it's like out of the 5 shots that we did against that class 5 armor, like 4 of them penned, dude. Like that's like it's a small sample size, but you wouldn't expect like I don't know, offhand, I don't know how to do that probability, but like there's a way of doing it. Like if you were expecting 20%, what's the likelihood of seeing 80%? You know what I mean? Like it's not a big number. I'm telling you, unlikely to see 80%. It's like the opposite. I don't know.
Take me back, man. The 14.0 was a mistake. We need to go back in the time machine.
Yeah, these plates are just, I don't know. They've done something arcane to them. Deep, dark BSG coding magic, and it's it's weird. It's like almost like the hitboxes are kind of fine themselves, but there's something happens then like for the plates, but like but then it's just like the calculations are just like they're just not working.
I don't know. Did you see that one clip where Airwing shot the Bastion plate and the plate, and then because there's the class 6 plate in the front, and then there's the helmet, but then the guy was wearing glasses, and the glasses also got pinned.
Yeah, was that the glasses took damage? Did he take like blunt damage or something? Or he was like,
They got zeroed, which implies that, but the plate
did the
got
guy die?
damage. Yes,
Died,
I'm pretty
right?
sure. Yeah, because they checked it, and then someone
Yeah.
had noticed it in chat or something. I think I can't remember, but
What
something
bullet
like
was it?
this.
Do you remember?
M61 maybe, or M80 or
Yeah,
something.
like
It had
I
to have been
think it's like
M61.
it's weird
This
how
said,
that calculation would even function, but like
but it shouldn't even happen because if
I
he hit
know.
the, which makes me think that he actually, like, the bullet pinned and also clipped the eye hitbox as well, which is like the double pin,
Yeah.
which then makes me think, is the AP ammo, the APM hitting the plate and like registering multiple hits? That's why I would like to see, maybe I'll do this sometime, but I would like to see similar, like same ammo, same material, but different. Yeah, you need to use like the old system and the new system and compare the two and see what the like I said, the Ulay, get like a ceramic class 4 plate and also the Ulay and see if the damage is similar. But I guess it's not going to be. But if you could figure out, reverse engineer the damage taken off the Ulay armor, it's like, let's say you get a class 4 ceramic plate that's got 45 out of 45 durability. You shoot the guy once the AP ammo and it goes down to like 28 out of 45, whatever. You shoot the Ulay enough times, eventually it gets down also that same number. If that number is also 28 out of 45 and you had to shoot him 3 times, then I assume that means that you hit 3 times on the plates, and that's how you get to that weird number. I don't know, dude. I honestly have
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange. We did actually do it. We did 762 PS against the Elafros ceramic plate actually.
Is that class
The
4?
class 4 ceramic, yeah,
Oh yeah.
which dealt 14 armor damage from 45.
You didn't happen to shoot the Ulay with it, did you?
Oh no, not 14. Sorry, I'm wrong. 9. 9. Like 8 or 9. Sorry, like 9 or 10. Probably like 9.5 or something.
Hmm.
Did I shoot the Ulay with PS? Where's this? Hmm. Actually, well, I don't even need to do that because I actually, the Ulay, I can see what the Ulay should
Oh
be.
yeah, you get the simulation,
I can simulation with the
the
Ulay, so that's fine.
spreadsheet simulation.
A spreadsheet simulation. My pride and joy, man. So that to the Ulay was dealing, 13. Oh no, sorry, that's one. Yeah, 9.6 armor damage. What did I say before? Between
Okay,
9 and 10.
yeah, so
So it
it's the
sounded like
same.
the same.
Scratch that, then scratch out the list. Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know, man.
It's confusing.
But that the plate blocked it, yeah, on your test. The plate should have blocked it, right? And took 0 physical HP chest damage.
Well, it didn't to begin with. So the first one, it went
Oh,
through and did 56. What's PS's damage? 56? I feel like it might be. Rings a bell.
62 by 30. It is 57.
Okay. So like, yeah, that's like
Mhm.
one damage is like distance or whatever. Like
Right, right.
it could be really anything. So yeah, so like the first one hit for 56, did 9.5 armor damage. The next one did 0, did 9.5 armor damage. The next one did 0, 9.5 armor damage. 55, 9.5 armor
Okay.
damage, and
Yeah.
then zeroed out with 56 damage.
But shouldn't the armor damage scale as the armor durability weakens?
No, the armor damage stays the same no matter what the durability is,
Oh, really?
and it's always done that. It's durability independent.
I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. By the way,
Yeah.
the podcast is ended. This is just being Giga, being nerds and shooting the shit. So you guys are free to leave now.
It's It's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a curse. Yeah, the things that scale. So blunt damage goes up as armor damage goes. Well, as armor
Okay, that's
durability
how
goes
it works.
down, and
Got it.
the amount that are the amount, and this is in the old system, right? And the amount that
Yeah.
gets the damage mitigation scales down as the armor damage also, or as the armor durability also goes down.
Okay, but the armor
So that's how
damage
it.
is
So the
consistent.
armor damage itself is consistent. Now in the new
Got it.
system with or in the plate system, from what I have seen so far, I mean, this is just like this is bugged and doesn't seem to give any mitigation, which is just weird. But
Yeah.
previous tests that we did, the armor mitigation was the same at all durabilities prior to this update. So if it was 15% at full, it was 15% right until 2 health, until the thing zeroed on plates.
What's armor mitigation now?
So, like, you know, if I hit you with BP at 50,
Oh, like
damage or
damage
whatever.
mitigation because of the armor.
Yeah. So that, like, it pens, but it only does 50. Well, with the armor plates before, it was just 50, 50, 50,
Yeah,
50, 50 until it gets to zero
Which,
Jura, and then it's 57 again. So it was like a completely static number for plates up until recently. The number now seems to be naught in this latest iteration. It doesn't seem to have damage mitigation at all now.
I see.
But on the old system, it scales, whereas it wasn't scaling in the first iteration here. And then what's the other thing? Yeah, so like it's like the damage mitigation was fixed and now seems to be 0, and blunt damage is always 0 on plates. That's like the main difference between the two. But yeah, armor damage is at least consistent between the two systems, it seems. At least for ceramic, and at least for 760 PS.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Well, I mean, I feel like the takeaway is if you're gonna rock plates, rock the highest class, so you can absorb. I mean, it makes me feel good about using actual ammo now, like
Yeah.
M80, for example. Like I was really just like stuck on you only using like APC 6.3 and
Good bullet, but
M88. Like it didn't feel good to put M85A1 in
yeah.
because I was just like, if I hit him in the plates, they're not going to do any damage. But that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, because they're not absorbing just like miracle stuff now. So like it will pen and it will hurt them. In fact, they're actually like worse now. So it's like the miracle pens have disappeared and damage mitigation has also disappeared. So plates have taken like a huge nerf. It's as if
I
you're not
don't know,
wearing
dude.
armor when it pens now. So it's like, okay, you get blunt for free, sure, but if it pens, oh boy, it's gonna hurt. You know, with 5.5A1 through class 4 should just 2-tap you now. At the moment in the current iteration,
which
is crazy. It's really strong.
And APM will one tap.
An APM will one tap you every time, apparently, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, good stuff. It's good stuff.
The stuff.
That is indeed the stuff.
I can't wait for them to fix the stuff.
Yeah, the stuff would be good to be fixed. I would like the stuff to be fixed. Because at the moment it's confusing.
Like, I feel like I'm being like way too picky about this, but I want them to have like a press conference. So, like get Nikita up like a on this like a little press, all the microphones up. Be like, Nikita, what's the word on the Ava situation? What's going on? The plates, and he's gonna clear the air and make everything right. People, calm down. I have all the answers right here in this tablet. And the tablet drops and breaks. Oh, yeah.
That's basically how it would go.
All right. Well, that's the end of this long and rambling about numbers and spreadsheets podcast. Hope you all enjoyed it. As always, we'll see you all next week.
Catch you later.